There are several players you need to avoid in week number 4 and beyond. And there are some players that a lot of people are avoiding and they're buy lows, but we want to go attack. Now, not everybody here, and additional players will add to the list. One player I'm going to add on here would be Saquon Barkley, who I think is also a player that we need to be thinking about as a potential avoid, but also, you know, what's his cost if you were to go try and trade for Barkley. So let's put Barkley on here. We'll throw some other names on here, but there are a lot of panic Peters out there, in some cases for good reason. In other cases, I think we take advantage of the overreacting Rodgers and panic Peters and we buy low. Who are the buy lows? Who are the sell highs? Who are the sell lows? Who are the players to avoid? The Fantasy Football Show Panic Chamber week number Quattro edition begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. And on screen right now, you see the buy lows for week number 4. And I want to show, I'm going to toggle back and forth between these two screens all night long as we try and sift through the great opportunities and the opportunities where we need to run for the freaking hills, because we won't always have a chance to get out of some of the players on said sell high screen, and others we're gonna put on here. Don't worry, we're gonna add more to this list, but we're not gonna have a chance to just run from these players in week 5, 6, 7. So we have to be preemptive. Barkley, he's coming back. So it's a sticky situation. You know, it's one of those situations where you sell him now, you're selling him before he gains some of his value back. So it's tricky. It's not something to where you just go running away from him, but he's on his way back. But what if he has a setback? What if he looks like garbage? What if he goes out there and thinks his ankle's good to go, and it was bad? He had to get help off the field. And he goes out there and he tweaks it. He's had a history of all kinds of injuries, ankle being one. And so we don't know what's in store for Barkley. So you got to get creative. You got to go get a potential 2-for-1. We go back to the buy screen. We're selling Barkley if we can. We're avoiding Barkley when and where we can. And what do? Where do we go? Go to the buy screen. Okay, what combinations of players can we get and accumulate in a Saquon Barkley, send him away with one player to acquire 2 players? Can you get a Ridley on the cheap with an Achane thrown in? A Devon Achane thrown into the mix with the Calvin Ridley, who's slumping right now, disappointing everybody. I would venture to say my favorite duo package, if for some reason the owner has Calvin Ridley and Devon Achane, you go after those 2 players together. Maybe the owner of Achane has a potential Christian Watson and you're selling a player like Barkley and you could maybe get something else thrown in, whatever. Maybe you've got the extra quarterback, you've got Jordan Love and you've got Anthony Richardson, and you've got the opportunity to go to the ailing, I'm injured, I have no quarterback owner, I'm in shambles right now. I'll give you your choice of Jordan Love or Anthony Richardson, whichever one gets this deal done. And I'll give you something else, some waiver wire popping off lad like Nico Collins, or someone that maybe they think is worth something like Algier, who is, but you trade the quarterback in Algier and you go after a very underrated, totally discounted, totally discarded in some categories and some circles in fantasy football right now, and Calvin Ridley. Ridiculous. I'm getting DMs, I'm getting comments, I'm getting messages everywhere. Do I sit Calvin Ridley this week? What do you mean, do you sit Calvin Ridley this week? He's not in a flex conversation. Maybe you're disappointed in your wide receiver 1, dropping footballs in week number 2 and in week number 3. Let's not make too many excuses for him. He dropped some opportunities which impacted T-Law. And a lot of you that say T-Law's garbage and he won't bounce back, I believe you're not giving T-Law any wiggle room at all when his wide receivers, this man right here, take accountability, Ridley, drop the football over and over in weeks 2 and 3. And I believe that's out of character for him. I believe he's hungry. I believe he's coming for his own prediction that he said, 1,300 yards? He swore on his children. Like, I think he's coming for that prediction and making sure he rings it true. I'm all in on buying low. I'm also holding Calvin Ridley, and I'm not in a panic Peter mode on T-Law yet. Again, so many blaming everything on him. Just like everybody was ready to jump ship, not the truthers, the ride and dies, the early adopters like many of you, but many casuals were commenting on the YouTube videos, in the Instagram comments, on Instagram DMs that I don't reply to half the time because I get about 200 a day. You're not going to get me that way. You go to the YouTube comments and leave a comment. That's the best way to get a reply from me, or drop a super chat during a show. But Jordan Love was being written off by everybody and their mother that was a casual or not a diehard truther from day one, ride or die Jordan Love fan. They were saying, this guy's garbage. How many times someone said, Smitty, you sold me this guy as if he was going to be a star? What a heap of garbage. After he dropped 3 TDs in week 1, 3 TDs in week number 2, and was, having a dud first and second quarter without his number 1 wide receiver, without his number 1 running back, which also serves maybe as his number 1 or number 2 wide receiver, and you complain that he comes out of quarters 1 and 2 in week 3 after having back-to-back 3 touchdown games. You complain? He's dropping off. He's awful. He looks so bad. Marches back. Jordan Love looks amazing. Second half, 2 touchdowns. Everybody loves him again. And that little story in a microcosm needs to be told for the players that are struggling in crazy fashion right now, because it is only 3 weeks in. We've only played 3 weeks of football, and while we're scared to death about, let's go back to the potential, not sell list necessarily, but the panic list, Breece Hall. We are concerned about Breece Hall. No doubt about it. We are worried, Williams, to a degree, every one of us, including me, that they have him set up to fail. Now, I agree with that. But at his newfound value, if you don't own him, you can go get him for pennies on the dollar. He could be a part of that combination trade that you might do. And let's go back to the players that we're buying. So if we say to ourselves, okay, maybe Breece Hall is available, maybe we can go get a Calvin Ridley or a Devonta Smith, who I told you would probably rotate with A.J. Brown heading into week 3. That's exactly what happened, and now everybody's a little panicked about Devonta Smith. Oh, maybe he was just maybe he's going to be inconsistent. Maybe they're just going to rotate. I want to get out of Devonta Smith. Well, guess what? Now, if you have a potential player in the territory of let's say 12 to 14 overall wide receiver value if drafting today, maybe you can get Devonta Smith and Breece Hall. Maybe you can get Devonta Smith and Jahmyr Gibbs, all for your said player. Not talking Tyreek Hill height, not talking JJ height, not even talking Jamar Chase height. We're talking about maybe along the lines of, let me go to thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings and give you a few names. Maybe along the lines of a, Chris Olave high, who we also buy. But getting a combo, sometimes you got to sell some of your favorite players. But Chris Olave, maybe a Devontae Adams, if you will. Devontae Adams is somebody that I don't think anybody should go shipping off cheaply at all. You sell high, but maybe you get a Gibbs or a Hall, and you get a struggling Calvin Ridley, a struggling Devonta Smith. That is the nature of a buy low, sell high, a nature of a 1 trade away for 2, a 1 for 2 trade. And that's how you execute it to a T. And one of the best including pieces in this is Jordan Love. If you're doing a 2 for 1, Jordan Love, Anthony Richardson. If you were so astute to get these guys as your backup and you're fully confident in what you got going, or you got a Kirk Cousins and a Jordan Love, or Kirk Cousins and a Richardson, and you could sell Kirk Cousins with your player, you could even go the reverse route. You could go Kirk Cousins and let's say a Waddle coming back and someone's keen on that idea. They're not going to buy him discounted. They'll buy him at fair market value. Now you can go get a Jamar Chase potentially by throwing in the quarterback. It's really simple. It's rinse and repeat. It's try and do the best you can with the players you have in terms of how deep you are versus how much depth you need. And so if you're sitting there and you're a withered away team, you've lost JK, told you not to draft him. You've drafted somebody I said would ball out like Fields and they're not playing well. Let's put some accountability on me. There's plenty of scenarios where your team isn't going to make it because it's not deep enough. You need to divide and conquer. Divide and conquer on this channel means you take one player like a Devontae Adams and you divide them into two players and then you go conquer. Devontae Adams for Ridley or Devonta Smith or Waddle and the extra piece. Or you've drafted so well, your depth is through the roof. You're like, Smitty, I got Tank Dell. We got some of the Moon Man Debo's popping off. I can't even start Tank Dell. Now you get to take your oversaturated lineup with a Jordan Love and a Tank Dell and send it off for one struggling player, Devonta Smith. I can't tell you how many people I've helped this week on the text line on thefantasyfootballshow.com text line service. I can't tell you how many people I've helped this week real quickly get a Tank Dell, or they just report back that they did it. They looked at the buy low video the other night, last night, and then they came in and they said, here's what I did today, Smitty. Dell and Jordan Love, or Dell and Cousins because I have Jordan Love, or Dell and I traded away Joe Burrow because he came back and I had Jordan Love. Dell and that player for Devonta Smith. Home run. Home run. Ridley, do it live. Do it live. And back to the players we're concerned about and potentially selling. This is how I look at this. Barkley, I don't give him away, but I'm certainly creatively shopping him. I'm certainly creatively going after a Ridley, going after a potential Devonta Smith, going after a Waddle. And all of these players, because they aren't RBs, are on a lower level. They are. It doesn't matter if Barkley's injured right now. Trade market value-wise, return on investment, this commands more. Barkley commands that you get a struggling Ridley and a Devon Achane. You can get both of those guys. And look, Devon Achane came out. He did. Everybody was saying he wanted his name pronounced properly. And your boy looked into it, and I did find the correct pronunciation released by his team to his Dolphin media personnel so that they could then release it. And I wanted to make sure I had it correct before I came out and started saying it over and over and over. I didn't want to just trust about 2 or 3 people because everybody was saying different things in the chat. He said that everybody's been saying not only his last name wrong, but his first name wrong too. It's Devon. It's like Devon, not Devon. Devon Achane. So the man wants his name said properly. This coming from his mouth. Let's do it. He deserves what he wants. He gets what he asked for. I mean, this is a monster right here. But listen to the words coming out of my mouth, you Devon Achane haters out there. You don't own him. That's why you hate him. You're planting seeds out there in a market full of people that have him, and you're trying to just rain on the parade. And I want every one of you, I posted a video on this, so I'm not going to go off for 9, 10, 12 minutes like I did in the video. There's a video on this exact topic. Every single one of you that own Devon Achane right now, look into my eyes and listen to the words about to come out of my mouth. You do not let one person in your league, in the chat, a friend, a text message, a content creator posting some BS report say that Devon Achane is can't sustain. He's not going to do it. He's a flash in the pan. He's a 1-week wonder. Don't let one individual, 2 individuals come in and plant a seed of doubt in your mind about this man to the point where you just send him off because you're afraid it's too good to be true. Might as well get rid of him before the wheels fall off. You're making a grave mistake. I'm not saying he's a lock. I'm not saying I'm getting pretty wild here, aren't I? I'm getting a little Poppy's getting a little bit upset right now, and I'm a little fearful that
Warning. Threshold unstable.
Alert. Maximum levels reached. Prepare for transformation. Alert.
Time for a Smitty rant.
This rant isn't going to be about anything but the haters out there for Devon Achane. This will be short because we have a whole video on it. Go watch the video if you need more. Devon Achane. Achane, we called him Achane for about 24, 48 hours straight last night, just saying I don't care until we hear it, until I go look into it. It's Achane, but that's okay. Devon Achane is headed to the moon. He's already there. Can I guarantee that the workload is plentiful? No, I can't. Can I guarantee that he's going to be a top 10, 12 running back? I cannot. If you want that guarantee, if you're going to come into my live stream later when he doesn't get the proper usage, maybe for a couple more weeks, then Wilson gets hurt or Mostert gets hurt or both of them get hurt and he reemerges. If you're not patient enough, if you're an impatient Ian, then you don't even need to go here. Trade him away. Go trade him away for a ham sandwich. See what it gets you. But the problem is the doubters are planting seeds and I'm watching people get affected by it. Don't let one absolute angry Angus come in, plant seeds of doubt, a doubting Donnie, and you start going in a different direction. Even if it's a content creator that says, I just don't see how it could pencil out, really. Look, am I biased because I own him in a couple leagues? Am I biased because we pumped him up on the channel for 4 straight weeks? Preemptive week 1 waiver wire show. Second preemptive week waiver wire show. Week 2 waiver wire show. Week 3 waiver wire show. Now week 4 waiver wire show. Do I have some bias injected into this situation? You bet I do. And I'm proud of it. Now, am I going to sit here and tell you that there aren't arguments to be made on, hey, what if they bring back Wilson, they start rotating the 3 running backs? It's certainly in the cards. But even in that worst case scenario, think about the offense we're talking about. The Miami Dolphins are popping off. And let's give them some damn respect. And that goes for me.
Let's go, mashed potatoes.
Okay? Yep. Give them some damn respect. And I'm doing that. You do it. Code Smitty, Underdog. We might be drafting tonight or at the end of this, doing the Resurrection League. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, where they match up to $100 on your first deposit. Resurrection is where you get to start over, ladies and gentlemen. They match up to $500. I forgot. $500. Double your first deposit up to $500 on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. And let's see here. And we'll be drafting, and you start over week 6 through 17. Weeks 1 through 5 don't count. You're drafting for week 6 to begin without any emphasis on weeks 1 through 5, meaning you take the knowledge you have with you into week number 6 on. It's beautiful. If you're in shambles, oh, Smitty, my season's over. No, it's not. You can do best ball drafts that don't include weeks 1 through 5, that start on week 6, that you draft one and done, don't have waivers, don't have anything, and you try and use the knowledge you know now to dominate said league. Achane, where do we draft Achane in such a league? I don't know. I don't even know myself, but I know that I would have an itchy finger to pull that trigger and get him on my team as fast as I can without being an overly anxious Angus, okay? But we'll have to see tonight, maybe at the end of the show when we drop one, where he might get drafted, where we're comfortable drafting him. I really don't know yet until we get in there. My whole point tonight is this. Don't let a seed be planted to where you're getting rid of him for a potential wide receiver 2. Maybe a low-end running back 2. Trade him, sell him for a boatload, an elite king's ransom, or don't sell him at all. The upside of Achane is so big, you'd be ridiculous to get rid of it for anything but an elite player. Example, Calvin Ridley, I'd be okay with that. Devonta Smith, I'd be okay with that. If you want to go that route, I'd be okay with any of those options. But to get rid of him for a struggling player that should have done well, that's not doing well, to go get a wide receiver 2 that's not even playing like a wide receiver 2, you go after T. Higgins because someone's like, come get T. Higgins, who's been garbage in week number 3. He should be on our avoid list or a panic list as well. Garbage in week 3, didn't have a fantasy point, I believe, in week 1. Do I go get rid of Devon Achane for a player like that? The answer is no. The problem is everybody influencing everybody else based on their fear and their regret of not going and getting Achane and looking at somebody else and saying, well, it's got to fail because I don't have him. That's what it's all planted in. The seed is planted in regret. The seed is planted in jealousy. Anybody that says that Devon Achane's going to go back into the abyss and be nothing doesn't own him. They don't own him. They missed out, because if they owned him, they would be riddled with bias like we are and be talking about him being a top 10 to 12 running back going forward. And I don't know that our bias isn't justified. I believe it is justified to think that can happen. To expect it's one thing, to think it's another. But anybody that says that Devon Achane cannot be a top 10 running back, that the rotation's too complicated, they don't own him. And it's their justification for being wrong last week, the week before, because if they get this right, they feel vindicated on everything that they missed on Devon Achane beforehand. What if they miss again? They're going to feel pretty stupid, and they're going to feel pretty regretful if they doubt him and watch him explode. Devon Achane to the moon. Do I guarantee it? No, I don't. Understand what I'm saying, but it's riskier to get rid of him or not believe in him than it is to buy into him or hold him. That is the whole point. And on that note, Devon Achane, getting him with another piece is the best two players you can get in a one-player trade. Back to these panic chamber players, and then we'll get to the super chats. I'm just going to say Barkley fits that bill. I am targeting the Devon Achane owner, and I'm going to say, what does that owner have that I could get with Devon Achane to give Saquon Barkley away? Devonta Smith and Achane for Barkley.
You've just
Ridley and Achane for Barkley. A lot of these things are going to work. CD Lamb's doubted. There's some reason to doubt and be concerned about Lamb, and that's why we've got him on this panic list, because this offense concerns me. But there's opportunity to buy him. There's opportunity to sell him. If you own him, you most likely want to send him away. If you don't own him, you most likely want to at least kick the tires and see if the owner is scared to death and willing to give them away for Dell and something. And I love Dell, you know that, but there's a time to take advantage of that stuff. Breece Hall, again, if you own him, I don't know. In a way, you're kind of like you've been screwed and you'll continue to be screwed because you can't get rid of him for anything right now. You got to hold him, maybe bench him or put him in a flex spot if you're not super strong on the flex spot. Dell's probably a safer start at this point. You got to maybe just hold on. But here's the cautionary tale that we've told with Hall and will continue to tell with Hall. The only difference is the likelihood of it going the way we wanted it to in week 5, 6, 7 is a little lesser, not impossible, but lesser. They got to run to open up the pass. It's going to happen. But we were all told that he was going to be eased in. I don't know if anybody understands that we're only 3 weeks into football. We were told that Gibbs would be eased in. We were told that Breece Hall would be eased in. And they were both eased in. And still we have people acting like that wasn't part of the recipe. It was. It was part of the plan. It was part of the recipe. And frankly, it's shocking to me that people treat it as if they knew it, but all of a sudden they didn't remember that they felt that way and understood the assignment. Now, Breece Hall's got to get out of a pretty messy situation. Is Simeon going to be the answer? Will they even bring him up? Salah's job, frankly, is on the line here. And I'll be honest with you. If he rolls with Zach Wilson this week, I borderline feel this is an incompetent coaching decision. I think if you don't understand that Zach Wilson is not it at this point, if you can't self-correct and diagnose this problem, you have a very big decision-making, personnel decision-making issue, an ability, a deficiency, and it's borderline fireable. It's borderline incompetence. Just continuing to be a Zach Wilson apologist. That's all he is. I apologize for Zach Wilson. Here's why. I apologize for this. The team's upset. The locker room's in shambles. The locker room doesn't want Zach Wilson under center. Nobody wants Zach Wilson under center. The fan base doesn't want him under center. The only one that wants him under center is Salah. And Salah needs to be held accountable to that. And I'm hoping that Salah does come around and say, I don't care if it's Simeon right now, and then we go to a different direction. Look, you can make fun of this all you want, but the options are not better that are on the table right now. Cam Newton's better. I don't want to hear, oh, Cam Newton's better than this situation. I don't care if Cam Newton's not great. He's better. Carson Wentz is better. Get Phillip Rivers on the phone and offer him something he can't refuse. And that doesn't step on Aaron Rodgers coming back, because Rivers would only do it for 1 year. Call up anybody. Colin Kaepernick wrote a letter saying, let me on your practice squad. At least let that happen. Give yourself some options. Simeon can't be the only thing you're looking to do. So this is borderline incompetence, if you ask me. And I don't understand why there isn't more action being taken. Scuba Steve, I'm in the middle of a monologue, bro. You got 20 seconds. Scuba,
I can call back.
Go ahead, Scuba. This is your thing. Go ahead. What can I do for you? You got 19 seconds now.
I wanted to talk to you. I'm 2-1 in one of my leagues, but I'm looking to make a trade to either upgrade at tight end or quarterback.
Scuba, we don't have kind of time for that. Call back in. What do we do? We're not doing roster evaluations in the middle of a monologue. You had 25 seconds and you crapped the bed, Scuba. You're going to have to call back. Back to this point here. I don't even know where I was until Scuba called in. Scuba, Burrow, I'm panicked on. If you've got Jordan Love, you're starting Jordan Love. Just so I don't have to repeat this answer 1,000 times over, and I don't mind, especially if it's in a super chat. I don't want you to feel bad. But I'm not going to go in a direction where I'm relying upon Burrow when I have Love already producing. So Burrow can eventually gain his job back, but Burrow is not somebody that you're going to... Here's somebody that doesn't own... Here's a non-Devon Achane owner here. Smitty. Here, let's have the computer read this one. There we go. This one's good. We know you don't own him. We just know like it's a dead giveaway.
Derrick Miller Smitty, you're talking about a backup running back. Really, Smitty?
Yeah, the answer is really... No, I'm out here faking it, Derrick. I'm out here pretending. This is me facading right now. This is AI. This isn't even... See the glitch, bro? This isn't even me. This is AI. I couldn't make the show today, so we had AI create a topic, and he went a little overboard. Okay, AI Ian went a little overboard. AI Angus went a little overboard, pal. Of course I'm being real. And didn't you hear me tell you, is it a lock? No. And for anybody that thinks, okay, he's the third running back, he's not going to get cycled into the rotation. This was a sleeper of ours before this ever unfolded the way it unfolded, Derrick. I think that was his name, Derrick. This was a thing that was going to happen eventually. This wasn't this came out of nowhere. We're just going to jump on this train. This is a player we've been talking about, Derrick. Becoming a player that we all think could be a league winner, Derrick. I said league winner about how many thousand times before week 3 kicked off, Derrick? How many times? So he becomes a glitch, AI glitch. He becomes a what, Derrick? He doesn't become a league winner when I said he's going to be a league winner. He goes out and drops 50-something points. It's just a lucky guess. He's a league winner, Derrick. And even if somehow, some way, he goes back to the rotation and he's bottom of the totem pole, this is an offense that can still feed him 10, 12 carries a game, Derrick, and 2, 3, 4 receptions a game, Derrick. That means he can still explode, Derrick. On top of that, the odds of Mostert and probably Wilson both staying healthy, both of them staying healthy, not just one of them getting hurt, the odds of both of them staying healthy are very, very low. Very, very low. So, I, Smitty, approve my own topic, Derrick.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Really? Really? All right, enough of this, and then we go to the super chats. which are backlogged. I know you're waiting for your answer. Burrow, panicked. Am I selling him for peanuts? No. Do I sell him if I've got Jordan Love? I might. I go to the owner that's desperate that says, oh, Joe Burrow returned. I'll take that gamble. Here you go. Joe Burrow and player. Give me Devon Achane. Give me Devon Achane for Burrow straight up from a owner in a 1 QB that's in shambles at quarterback, and I got Jordan Love because we knew what Jordan Love was about. Breece Hall, buy him low or hold him. Lamb, panicked if you own him. Try and sell him off. Give another piece, a waiver wire fodder piece that's going nuts with Lamb to upgrade into a struggling Ridley, a struggling Devonta Smith. So there are ways to trade him away. If you don't own him, go buy him from the Panic Peter. Depends on the lens that you have on as far as whether you should go after him. Fields has a great matchup in week number 4. Fields has a great schedule going forward. I'm not saying that you should start him over Love. You have Love, activate, plan Jordan Love. But this is a player that if you're in shambles at quarterback, he's tempting to go get to see if maybe he can revive himself. Otherwise, what other options do you have? Waiver wire quarterbacks? Listen to what I'm saying. And if you own him, don't give him away for free, but explore trying to trade him away. Same concept as Lamb. He's a trade away, he's a hold, and he's a buy low, just depending on the lens and angle you're coming from, because the price points will be different depending on where you're at. Barkley, I'm getting rid of him, as I said. And the final guy that we're talking about right here that we should run away from, and I don't know that his value is going to go up. Maybe you wait a week, you let him have a pretty decent afternoon on Sunday, and hopefully maybe his value goes up to the point where you can maybe trade him away for a wide receiver, because the best way to trade a doubted running back that a lot of people are fearful of dropping off is to go across position. Go get a Devonta Smith. Try it now. I would trade Henry for Devonta Smith right now, Smitty. I would trade Derrick Henry right now straight across for a Calvin Ridley. Smitty approved. Those are all moves to make. And relish and sit here and just marinate and take in this freaking buy low list. And this guy right here, back at practice, let everybody else draft him. They're in shambles. Now you scoop in and grab him. The essence of buy low and sell high, and how you work that process in fantasy football to win. JT, he's still a week away. His owners might be 0-3. They might be saying this was a good plan. Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the mouth, like Mike Tyson said. And this is how the Taylor owner might be feeling. I don't know that Kamara is even attainable anymore because his owners have hung on to him. I warned about this every single week. Every week, Kamara gets closer to coming back, as well as Taylor. You lose the advantage of buying low because now people have hung on to him and they're not wanting to release him for very much. The way you get around that is confusion by like a massive trade offer that you construct. Something kind of creative and very large, like a Barkley and something for Kamara and something. Maybe you're buying low on Devon Achane. You're giving up a player that you like a lot more, that the other owner might be saying, I should jump away from this situation. Maybe Achane's going to be like what was his name? Kevin or whatever his name was, said that he's the third running back. Let those seeds be planted and let people panic and run away. Kamara, absolute amazing win a league player that we drafted all offseason long on the assumption, the knowledge that we had based on the experience of the NFL's actions and what they do and don't do, that he was going to win leagues. This was a league winner all offseason long. Bijan, buy low. Cooper Kupp, buy low. He's probably coming back. There is some risk. Buy low. Eckler, he's going to get used a lot more than he probably was, because now Mike Williams is out and they need a trusty pass catcher to help. And imagine if another injury strikes that wide receiver room, he goes to the moon again. Buy low, buy now. Ridley, buy low. Don't worry about drop footballs. Waddle, buy low. He's been missing. His owners are upset. Devonta Smith, buy low. Warren, pick him up or buy low or have him thrown into a deal. Jordan Love, get ready to start him. Aaron Jones, buy low. Watson, Christian Watson, buy low. Jalen Hurts, you're not buying low, but you're buying lower than you should because people are just worried about that offense and not looking exactly the same. Achane, buy low. JT, Richardson, Hall, Gibbs, again, disappointing. New entry point. If you don't already own them, if you own them, it sucks. It is what it is right now. If you don't own them, new entry point, buy low. Dell, make sure he's not on waivers. Do it live. Do your worst. Let's hit these super chats, ladies and gentlemen. The $20 haulers will get immediate assistance if anybody drops one. Geezer coming in with a 20 spot right off the jump. Appreciate you, Geezer. Thank you very much. We've got a Kilpatrick $20 hauler coming in strong. Kilpatrick, my man. Love my boy Kilpatrick coming in with a 20 wad. Let's get these $20 haulers off the board and let's start cycling through these super chats. Let's start off with Kilpatrick, who had the first one. Kilpatrick, appreciate you. To the moon, my guy. $20 hauler, baby.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Kilpatrick coming in strong, broski. I get here 10 minutes late and I already a rant. Holy smokes. Thank you. Or that was Geezer. Geezer, appreciate your super chat. $20 hauler.
Super chat alert.
I read Geezer's first. Thank you, Geezer. Appreciate your $20 hauler. Kilpatrick, rough day at work today. My boss sucks. I think I'm going to drop him. Just want to say this channel community and the content keeps me sane through it all. Thank you, Smitty, and thank you all. Kilpatrick to the moon. Let me just tell you how amazing my followers are and subscribers. I wouldn't be here, first of all, without you. If you guys weren't on the other end, I'm a nothing. I'm a peon. I already am a nothing. I am something because of you. That's it. And I've got two $20 haulers waiting for me. And these guys are reaching out to the community, talking about how much they love you guys. These two $20 haulers were because of you and for you. Kilpatrick to the moon and Geezer to the moon.
To the moon.
Unbelievable. You guys absolutely rule. All right, let's go to the super chats here. G Money with the first super chat of the night always gets a standing O.
Mashed potatoes.
That's my boy right there. G Money says, thanks, Smitty. Appreciate you. I don't know what you're thanking me for. The thanks is all on this side of the table, pal. Appreciate you. G Money coming in strong. That boy with a $5 hauler. Let's go, boys. Thank you, that boy. Appreciate you coming in strong. Axe says, love the show. Look at this. Not one single question yet. Just people excited to be here and love the community. You guys are amazing. Swift, Kenny, Dell for Kelsey, Jacobs, and Ayuk. Swift, Kenny, Gainwell, I assume. Kenny Gainwell, Swift, Kenny Gainwell, and Dell for Kelsey, Jacobs, and Ayuk. I'm taking Kelsey, Jacobs, and Ayuk, and I'm running. But then I'm flipping Jacobs. That's probably the easiest question I've had all day. And it doesn't mean that I don't want to send Jacobs packing, but I do. $10 hauler from our boy James. James says, last night you approved a potential my Bijan for Richardson and Walker trade. I forgot to mention that I have T-Law. Would you still do it? So you're trading Bijan for Richardson and Walker. I mean, I still think it's a decent trade, but at the same time, I don't know you fully need it, but I think it's not bad to have the two quarterbacks. I probably would say in that case, I'd rather have Bijan, but what's the chat think? I mean, are we loving K9 so much right now that we could say, let's take the quarterback, and maybe K9's even more attractive right now. Not that it's gonna not necessarily change, but are we looking at K9 as an equal to Bijan at this moment in time? Let's see what the chat says. Chat, please vote for James right here on his $10 hauler. I guess I would lean towards still doing it. It's dynamic. It gives you a lot of value. Maybe T-Law craps the bed, and frankly I would start Richardson this week anyways. Maybe you do it. Let's see what everyone says. Bijan, nah. Stay with T-Law and Bijan. K9 and AR. Bijan. The chat has completely voted Bijan. Pretty much, like 95% vote. There are a few. Yeah, there you go. I would trust the chat on this groupthink. I'm indifferent. I like both sides a lot, but I still believe in T-Law more than the average bear. So if I'm you, I probably stay put, given that the chat was so overwhelming on that. Listen to the chat. When the chat's overwhelming, I even let it change my mind. And I know some people think that's stupid. Like, I have a couple of people that usually comment and say, we asked you, not the chat, Smitty. Why do you ask the chat? Do you not feel confident in your answer? If you think that I believe I always know more than my entire community combined, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you don't value freaking 731 people live in the chat right now. I have 731 amazing minds that I trust more than just mine, okay? Especially in a case where it's 50-50. So I lean to the chat, and I think that's respectable. And I think that gives my chat respect, because if I let my chat sway an answer to somebody that's given hard-earned money to me, that's the most amazing gift I can give them, because there's safety in numbers. So absolutely love it. How about Gibbs for Achane? I would probably keep Gibbs at this moment in time, but if I had Achane, I'm not trading him. So it's like a catch. It's like a crazy, you know, I don't know, different stance from each side of that. But I do believe if you go get Achane because fair market value commands you get more, I would trade Gibbs for Achane and an upgrade somewhere. Appreciate you very much for the super chat, my broski. Case with the $5 hauler just traded Garrett Wilson and Laporta and Jerome Ford for Diggs and Swift. Absolutely, Smitty approved that trade. You crushed him.
Got him.
Crushed him, bro. Into a million little pieces is what you did. He's not going to be able to show his face tomorrow. Non-PPR, trade Pacheco or Kamara for Addison. Let me just put it this way. This is Superfish. I appreciate your $5 hauler, and I'm only using this as a point of emphasis, not mad at your question or anything like that. But this is like asking, I always give this example. Should I trade a $5 bill for this pot of gold or a 25, or not even pot of gold, that's a bad example. Should I trade this, how about this? Should I trade this $5 bill for the $10 bill Addison, or should I trade the $50 in cash for the $10 bill Addison? You know what I'm saying? Like at Pacheco, I'd rather have Addison than Pacheco. So $5 bill for a $10 bill, do that trade. But your other part of this, or Kamara, that's like let's say it's a $100 bill for the $10 bill. This is not Pacheco and Kamara do not deserve to be in the same conversation here as a or option, is what I'm trying to say. Get Kamara's name out of this trade's mouth. That should not be there. Appreciate you. Superfish to the moon.
To the moon.
Superfish to the moon. Bryce Long coming in strong with his super chat here. Says Stevenson Achane for Eckler. I would take Eckler in a millisecond. In a millisecond, coming from an Achane believer and truther and ride or die. Juan with the $5 10-team PPR, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Pollard, Gibbs, JT, fantastic. Moss, you got that cuff just in case, or separate running back opportunity to trade later. T. Hill, Ridley, Olave, AJB, Christian Watson, Tank Dell. What are you even going to do here? Trade Olave, AJ Brown for JJ and Lockett? Okay. Yeah, I'd probably do that. How else do you upgrade? Quarterback, I don't know who your quarterback is. I definitely use some of that bench to get like a hurt somehow, unless you already have them. But that trade I do, go get JJ and Lockett, and then flip Lockett. Flip Lockett because I think you get so much value at the end of the day if you turn that into JJ and then turn Lockett into something else. Turn Lockett into Achane. Unless you had Achane, I don't know if I read that. $5 super chat from Alex, 10-man PPR. Allen, Bijan, Swift, Olave, love it. Debo, love it. Kincaid, be patient. Remember what I said about Kincaid? He's not supposed to do amazingly in weeks 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, maybe even 5. He is a patient play. I'm not saying don't play him if you're desperate, because you still get the targets, but he might come along strong later. Bench 2 out of these flex options: Fields, Dotson, Collins, Palmer. I'm going to bench probably, wow. So if this is a super flex, you got to start Fields. You got to start Nico, and I'm probably benching Dotson and Palmer. Palmer is going to be hit and miss. Like, you could sit him and then he has 100 and a touchdown, and then it's going to look obvious later, but it could also be something to where he does nothing and looks obvious later. Could go either way. Javonte, Gibbs, B-Rob, or Christian Watson this week. If Christian Watson plays and he's not going to be hampered, there's no talk of decoy, then I probably play Christian Watson. But I think B-Rob is pretty safe. Gibbs is your highest upside highest risk play. There's no answer here, Packers. I think we decide this tomorrow if Christian Watson looks good to go. If not, you got to decide between wanting safety or wanting Gibbs as a high-risk, high-reward play. But it's a very, very good question. B-Rob is definitely the safest option, I would say, but I don't know that he's the highest scoring at the end of the day. Smitty, have to drop one. Love, Sun God, Christian Watson, ETN. Don't name these guys in your drops. Let's say, but I guess you just want me to know your team, so I know the structure of it. I get it. Myers, drop Myers, easy. There's just no debate. There's no debate at all. I'm not saying he's garbage. I'm not saying he shouldn't be on teams anywhere, but in your situation, he's the lowest man on the totem pole. PPR, trade King Henry, Higgins for A.J. Brown and Aaron Jones. Smash it. Easy, bro. Easy peasy. Superfish with another $5 hauler, and that equals 10. And what does 10 get you?
To the moon.
To the moon. Trip to the moon. $10 is all it costs on this channel, and I'll send you to the moon. Non-PPR, trade Pacheco and Kamara for Devontae Smith and Addison. I'm going to say Kamara. But it depends on your team build, of course. I think Kamara, you waited this long. Devontae Smith's a nice buy low, though. I guess when we think about it, does Kamara go inside the top like 30 overall? Maybe he does. With the running backs in shambles right now, to the degree they're in shambles, that might be a move you actually consider making. We'll see where Kamara goes in tonight's resurrection draft. For those that aren't in the know, we're drafting on Underdog Fantasy. Probably at the end of this, maybe. I don't know if I'll do the whole draft live, but at the end of this, we'll start a draft. Hopefully, we'll kick one off. And here's the code. I just dropped it in the live chat. I'm going to pin it. Use code Smitty. Use the link. The link will insert code Smitty for you. But on Underdog Fantasy, the resurrection is week 6 through 17. Best ball. Draft one time and you're done. No trades, no lineups, optimal scoring. You draft a bench, but your bench goes in for you automatically, and your highest scoring players get set for you. And whoever wins week 6 through 17 will win it all. So get ready for that. So awesome that they're doing that. I love the resurrection. It's amazing. We got some $20 haulers coming in strong here. These get immediate assistance. Webb with a 20 spot on screen. Webb, appreciate you. Lego with a $20 hauler. Lego to the moon. Appreciate you. William coming in with a 20 strong right there. Appreciate you. And Rodney with a $20 hauler. Rodney, you are absolutely amazing. Let's start off with Lego, who's been here pretty much every night lately, dropping a 20 watt. He's so unbelievable. Cheers to the legend. We appreciate you. No, Lego. I appreciate you, Lego. Not the other way around. To the moon, pal.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Lego. Just doing Lego things. Cheers to you, bro. Lego to the moon. Rodney with a $20 hauler traded Mike Thomas and Pryormuth. Pryormuth. Was that when he was getting more targets? Pryormuth. For Waller and Stroud. I would take Waller and Stroud, and then I maybe flip Waller if I can. Also got DJ Moore for Pierce. I like both of those guys about the same. Need a running back, Pierce. Need a wide receiver, DJ Moore. I think those are interchangeable. Now my team is Fields, Javonte. It's a good squad. I think those are good moves. Any suggestions? I think you try and maybe sell Moss and Lockett together for one player, a struggling player. I think maybe a Devontae Smith type would be great. I'd sell Lockett for Achane straight up. I would definitely be interested in moving Moss and DJ Moore, even though you just got him for a little bit better player. I think those are all moves that I would potentially make. Fields upgrade would be nice. I know you just got Stroud. Maybe you could trade Stroud and Moss for T-Law, or go after Anthony Richardson potentially. I know you just got Stroud. I don't think Stroud's bad, but Fields is, he probably could rebound this week. He's got a great matchup. JT coming in strong soon. Your team's going to get saved soon, but I still think you're one move away using those 2-for-1s, Rodney. Appreciate your super chat. Lee coming in with a 20 wad. Yo, Smitty, who would you start this week, Gibbs or Kamara? Let's put Kamara in, and let's not look back. Doesn't mean Gibbs can't find a flex spot, but Garrett Wilson or Tank Dell. We're going Tank Dell. Thank you for your 20.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Thank you for your 20. Doesn't mean I don't want Gibbs in there in a flex spot or something like that, but Tank Dell over Garrett for right now. Just for right now, until this whole thing is situated. Till Salah either sees the light or someone says you're fired if you don't do this. If you don't go get some options. What is up, Smitty? 0-3, 12-team, 0.5 PPR, QB Hurts, running backs Hall, forward, wide receivers Adams, Devontae, and Kittle. Bench is Mike Evans. Okay, so your problem is you got small lineups and you got a really good team. So you need to move Mike Evans. You need to move potentially Christian Watson. Maybe after this week you get an opportunity to do that. I think going after a JT right now is a smart play for a team like this. Getting you an RB using Mike Evans, and maybe a Ford for a JT I think is a great move. For a Kamara, great move. For a potential, what other RBs could you even go after? On screen we got a lot of guys here. Let's say Eckler. I mean, I don't know if Mike Evans and Ford would get you Eckler. Mike Evans and Hall could get you Eckler, but I think JT is one of the craftiest moves for you. And I know it's going to sound tough to do that and then maybe go 0-3, but think about it. Evans is not even in your lineup. Evans, Christian Watson, and Jalen Warren, Dell, Evans, and freaking Ford. All for an Eckler, for a Bijan, for a Taylor. You know, use the bench pieces and upgrade the running back room that, yeah, you can't use yet, but you're not using some of those pieces anyway. That gets you into a championship caliber team, and you might start 0-4, you might not. Maybe you squeak it out, surprise yourself, you win a week, you're 1-3 anyway, and now you got JT and you're in comeback mode. But let me tell you something right now. I'm looking at most standings right now in most leagues, and if you're 1-3, or 1-2, or even 0-3, you're 2 games away from being like in second place in the division. Just understand how early on it is. Yeah, you got to win a lot of games moving forward, but you're not very many games out of contention right now, and everyone needs to keep that in mind, especially if you haven't looked yet, to give yourself a little solace. Go look and see if I'm right. You might win. You might be very, very close to being tied for in the division with 2 or 3 wins. You might be 1 game out. Trade Gibbs and Waddle. Trade Gibbs for Waddle. I'd rather have Waddle by a hair, and that's not to say Gibbs can't supersede that value. I think he can, but it's a smart move right now. Trade Walker for Diggs. Diggs is probably a wee bit safer than Walker, I think, long-term on the season. But if we're talking running back as a big need, this would hurt you and devastate your lineup. I can see not making the trade. They're very, very close. Being a running back in a very, very bad running back climate, Walker's even lesser, maybe fantasy output on the year, maybe from here going forward at least, might be worth keeping over Diggs swap because of the position of need. But thank you, Uncle Philly.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Uncle Philly coming in with that $20 hauler. Uncle Philly, appreciate you. Love the avatar. Uncle Philly is amazing. Scared Scott, I'm in the middle of some super chats, but I will. Scared Scott, turn the YouTube audio down. You got 30 seconds and that's it. Go.
Just curious, man, what's your thought? Because I've started kind of grabbing up all the Clyde CEHs. With them splitting the carries last week at 15-15, is he not worth stashing?
He is,
but
he
might be moving past him.
He is, but McKinnon, I mean, he's decent stash or cuff, but McKinnon and Pacheco were both also used. You know, I know McKinnon didn't have a ton of volume, but he had the touchdown. He's being utilized. But it's still a committee there. And the problem is they rotate without any sort of indication whatsoever. So if you were to stash him, that's okay, but don't start him. Scott, call back in when the phone lines are open. I hope I answered your question. Your 30 seconds is up. Appreciate you. You haven't called in a while, so we're glad you called in, and good to hear your voice, pal. Call back in again really soon. All right, maybe when we open up the phone lines. Kyle with the super chat, $20 hauler. Let's go, Kyle. Appreciate you, Kyle.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Kyle coming in strong. I have Cousins, Keenan Allen, Puka, Nakua, Bijan, James Cook, Laporta, Aaron Jones starters, benches, Cup, Javonte, Dotson, Herbert, Roshan, Ford, Dell. Thinking about dealing Puka and Cook for Ridley or Garrett Wilson. I don't know that Garrett Wilson's enough. I think Garrett Wilson was enough. He's not enough. We're acknowledging that his situation until it changes can't be on the same level as a Ridley. And like Superfish's question of Pacheco or Kamara for Addison, that those two don't belong. Kamara and Pacheco don't belong in the same sentence. And just like I could say Garrett Wilson and Ridley don't. So Puka and Cook for Ridley or Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson and Ridley do not belong in the same sentence. And it's a totally different trade. Ridley, I would go get Ridley. Garrett Wilson could soon, though, be in the same sentence, but he needs a quarterback change. He needs Salah to wake up and figure out what's going on here. Uncle Philly says, did I get this one already? PPR trade, Gibbs for Waddle. Yeah, thank you again, Philly. Appreciate you very much. Philly to the moon. Philly's a monster. I mean, technically speaking, in all reality, Uncle Philly is a monster. Or was a monster. I don't know if you guys have seen The Sopranos, but non-PPR trade Pacheco and Kamara for Devontae Smith and Addison. Did I get this one already? Pacheco and Kamara for Devontae Smith and Addison. Yeah, I already answered this one. I lean Kamara, but I would love to know if the chat feels differently about that. Hector dropping his first super chat ever. Hector, appreciate you. I'm coming. I'm sorry about the delay. Actually, since this was Hector's first super chat, I'm going to throw him up real quickly. 0-3 Smitty, full PPR, 12-man, traded G, Wilson, and Javonte for Pierce, and have Eckler. Garrett Wilson and Javonte for Pierce. I think he gave up too much. I think Garrett Wilson and Javonte's worth more than just Pierce. I do think Pierce is undervalued. I do like Pierce. I do love acquiring Pierce on the cheap. But I think giving up Garrett Wilson as if he's not potentially a wide receiver, high-end wide receiver 2 with the potential of that to change if a QB situation develops, I think it's selling him a little short. Love the show loves you back. You still got a good team. I think your team's going to come on strong when Eckler returns. Pierce is a nice addition, nice running back, safe running back. I know why you did it, because you got Olave, you got Ridley. You maybe don't need to have Garrett Wilson, so this makes you feel more secure RB. Achane would have been a fun player to go after, I think, in your situation with having to give up a lot less. But that's just me. Appreciate you for the super chat. This one's from Grizzly Slimes. How is our bird doing? For those that don't know, my biggest fan is a bird, and it's Grizzly Slimes' bird. And I've never seen any bird or fan or anybody take my show more seriously than Sway, which is Grizzly Slimes' bird.
Hey Sway, it's a fantasy football show. Come on, son. Want a little snack? Come on, let's watch Uncle Smitty.
Notice how it's so interesting that clip that he's watching is the one where I say don't get overzealous and go drafting him too high, because what if he has a slow start? That's what I say in that exact clip, which is so funny that's Sway's favorite clip. Be patient, don't get overzealous. People were grabbing him at the top of round 2, and I said, what if there's a problem? What if there's a problem, Houston? And that's what we're seeing, and so it's pretty funny. Gibbs for, and I didn't even read the question yet. It's about Gibbs. Gibbs for Devontae Smith. Take Devontae Smith and run. And that's not to say that Gibbs can't get to that value and be a very productive top 20 overall player very, very soon. But that's a smart play because Devontae Smith is a top 10 wide receiver. 12-team PPR, Burrow or Love, and Hopkins or Warren. I'm going to go probably Hopkins, even though I do like Warren and I hold him, and I'm going Jordan Love over Burrow. And I'm going to say that all night long for everybody that asked that question. Jordan Love needs to be activated, like I said last week when people put other quarterbacks in, and I said, don't put in Jordan Love. Drop Love, or here we go. It's always the next question, too. The same player in there after I make a huge point. That player's in a funny fashion in the next question. Drop Love or Goff for Fields. Why in the hell would you drop Love, who's a top 5 or 6 quarterback, Squeezy? I hate to send, only because I know you got thick skin. You're not going to get upset and not super chat again or be mad at me or be upset. I'm going to send you on a lap here. We're not dropping Jordan Love. Would I drop Goff for Fields? I mean, statistically, you shouldn't based on what we're seeing, but I do believe Fields has a decent chance of returning some better value than everybody's expecting right now. Maybe it's not top 5, but maybe it is 7, 8, 9, 10 because he runs so much. His schedule opens up. He has a great matchup this week to bounce back. He could have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground at any moment. That's what Fields does. So I'm going to say take a lap, Mini. Just a mini lap, but start Love. Love's your starter. Even if you pick up Fields, Love is your starter. Love is the man. Oracle Smitty, pick one, Olave or Devonta Smith. I'd rather have Olave, but they're near damn even, bro. Like, honestly, I'm going to even take that back and say even. Even. If I had to choose, I guess give me... The problem with Olave, I say give me Olave in one moment, in one breath, but then because he's the number 1 for sure, and he doesn't rotate with A.J. Brown, but at the same time, his offense is questionable right now. We don't know... the severity of Derek Carr's injury is definitely not season ending. And he'll probably be back, I think, in a week. The word today was that, they're going to see about him playing this week, but he's probably not going to play. So Olave's quarterback situation is still secure. Winston probably starts this week. And it's not bad because Winston gives him a bunch of long, air yard targets. So I'd probably say... I guess I would say give me Olave by a hair. Just by a hair. But that's really tough. Waddle and Achane for Flowers and Gibbs. I'd rather have Waddle and Achane by a mile. By a mile. Just right now. And given what we know right this very second. Doesn't mean it won't change. Doesn't mean it won't be dead even later. Mark Andrews for Alvin. I'll take Alvin Kamara in a millisecond. Mark Andrews for Aaron Jones. I'd take Aaron Jones, but I'd rather have Kamara if I get to choose. 2 different teams. No tight end 2. Let's go, Mac. Let's go. Do it live. Get the RB. Get it done. Poor running back climate, bro. Traded Zach Moss and Nico A. Richardson and B. Hall. Thoughts? Traded Zach Moss and Nico for Richardson and B. Hall. I take Richardson and B. Hall and I run from the veto police, bro. That's amazing. That's a great trade. That boy, trade A.J. Brown and Stroud for Bijan. I take Bijan and I run. Already have Gibbs, Brees starting. QB's T-Law, Richardson. You're starting Richardson. If it's 2 QB, then you start both of them, obviously. But Richardson's your starting quarterback until further notice. I easily, bro. Easily. Smash it. Do it live. J-Max, $5 hauler. Trade Hurts for E.T. ETN? Who's E.T.? ETN, I think. I have Jordan Love as a second quarterback. I guess I'd rather trade Jordan Love and a smaller piece for ETN is what I would first say. I'm not saying I don't do it. Jordan Love as a second QB. Also have running back stable of Bijan, Gibbs, Javonte, Charbonnet. Roll with Love. I'd rather you try and figure out a Jordan Love trade. I'm not saying no to it. I mean, at the end of the day, you're drafting ETN ahead of Hurts, so I would say pull the trigger. But I'm still trying my best to keep ETN and Hurts on the table to be on the same team. Appreciate you. Call your boy loud. PPR 0-3. Been trying to sell Henry low, but no bites. So I got Kamara and Gibbs in my running back spots and need to fill my 2 flex spots between Connor, Henry, and Achane. You're probably going to go with... God. You got to go with Connor. He's been balling out, proving me wrong. That's one of the misses that I've had so far, at least. Can we address this later in the week? Right now, I guess I would lean Achane coming off that big game, but how do you bench Henry when you especially if you're trying to sell him and he's on your bench? I would just figure out a way to get a trade done. You got to get crafty, bro. Go across position. I forget who your quarterback was. If you can upgrade your quarterback and throw him in to it and get into a Mahomes somehow or a Hurts. I forget if you had a Hurts. My Najee and Madison for Aaron Jones. I take that in a run. I'm so off Najee and Madison both that this is a home run. And then trade Mixon away after that. I don't want Mixon on my team either. But great trade. Amazing trade. Ferguson or Kincaid. Rest of season, Kincaid. But right now, Ferguson. So kind of a trick question and a tricky answer. $5 hauler from Pete Monster. Jordan Love and Goddard for Burrow and Waller. Give me Jordan Love and Goddard. I'm 2-1. AR is my QB1. Jordan Love and Goddard for Burrow and Waller. I'd rather have Love and Goddard right now, only because we don't know what Burrow is going to be. And I think Jordan Love only gains value. I know people think that's crazy. $10 hauler. Smitty, love your show. Traded Hall and Laporta for Christian Watson. W or L? It was a little much to give up because Laporta is like a top 3 or 4 tight end across the board in anybody's eyes right now. And Hall could be a top 5 to 10 running back at some point. He's not right now. And Christian Watson hasn't played a game yet. So I'd say you overpaid a little bit. It doesn't mean it won't work out for both of you, because I love everybody involved. So it doesn't mean that you can't like all win on that. Trade away Jerome Ford for Gibbs. Absolutely take Gibbs and run. Lost Chubb. Swift is RB1. Take that and run. That is a slam dunk home run trade. Luke with a $5. Hey, Smitty made some moves. Here's my starting lineup. QB Love, wide receiver JJ, Gabe Davis, Tank Dell, Cooper Kupp on IR. Good. You got Kupp coming back. You can have a strong wide receiver and quarterback trio there. Barkley, Walker, Kelsey. Thoughts? I'm trading Barkley. Make sure you go back and look at the Barkley content that I talked about, where I'm trading Barkley and I'm trying to get that Ridley or that Waddle type of wide receiver and Achane on top of it. The Hall or Gibbs type of player, and I know you have you don't have those. Hall or Gibbs type of player with the wide receiver. You know, that to me is the way to move Barkley. Barkley's a concern, but don't sell him low. Your team is very, very good. You could wait a week. You could even afford to not make a bad trade with Barkley. Let him come back and have a decent game or something, hopefully, if you can even do that. 3-0 PPR, Allen, JT, Connor, Hill. Fantastic looking team so far. Christian, Watson, Ingram, Achane, Pickens, Dell, B-Rob, Love. Offer Bijan and Njoku for Connor, Dell, Ingram, Allen, or maybe keep Love. Wow. If you're gonna offer Bijan, wow. So you're getting Bijan and Njoku for Connor, Dell, Ingram. First of all, I don't trade Connor and Josh Allen for Bijan, as much as I want to say yes, Bijan's the best ever, and I think he definitely could be the number 1 running back at some point this year for the entire rest of the season whenever that switch gets flipped. I still think Connor's playing too well for you to just throw Ingram in, give Josh Allen away. If you were to trade like Connor and Love for Bijan and give up Dell and Ingram and don't even ask for Njoku back, make it like a one-player acquisition, then I'm more on board with that. You know what I'm saying? But you start throwing all that together, and sum total, you're giving him just too much, and I don't think that's fair value. Love, Quentin Johnson for Puka. London and Quentin Johnson for Puka. I'd probably rather take Puka right now, to be honest with you. Mark Andrews for Watson. I'd rather have Christian Watson and Laporta over Mark Andrews. No doubt about it, Mac. That's an easy one. This one right here is from Burnout Boy. Trade Mixon plus Debo for ETN and Christian Watson. I would take ETN and Christian Watson. And I love Debo, but I don't love Mixon. So I'm making that trade. Smitty traded Swift and Collins and Thielen for Aaron Jones and Achane. Smitty approved that. You get Aaron Jones instead of Swift, and you get Achane instead of the receivers. I'm okay with that. I mean, both sides could have a good return, and you both win the trade. It's just even, but I would do that trade. Need Superflex QB stash list. O'Connell, quarterback for the Raiders. He's not ready yet. Taysom Hill, he's a tight end, but he also has a QB designation in most league formats, so check the format before you pick him up. Those are 2 quarterbacks that I would look to target. Simeon, in case he gets into the lineup at some point. I mean, those are deep plays. Those are very deep plays. If you gave me a list, TM, I could probably roll through what I like best, but I would check O'Connell. O'Connell's somebody I picked up in Superflex leagues everywhere, just in preparation for when he gets in there. Kelsey, Pollard, and Olave, or Diggs, ETN, and Hawkinson. Kelsey, Pollard, and Olave I would take, but very arguable. It's just that Pollard and Olave, Diggs, and ETN is so hard to even evaluate. It's so close that it's like Kelsey crushes Hawkinson. Not by a mile, but by enough to say the word crush. And so you got to take the Kelsey side. $10 hauler. Need help with my team. One flex.
moon.
Appreciate you. Full PPR. Running back depth is running back is Bijan, Gibbs, Walker, Kamara. Fantastic. Need a wide receiver. Was offered Ridley for DJ Moore and Gibbs. I'd rather have DJ Moore and Kamara. I'd take DJ Moore and Kamara for Ridley, and I would. But that's if you need a. I'm sorry. You have Kamara. I keep Kamara. I trade Gibbs for Ridley. I keep Kamara, Bijan, and Walker. That's my final answer. I'd rather get rid of Gibbs in that scenario. I don't like getting rid of Gibbs, but that's a smart move for you to get Ridley. Just traded Henry for Ridley, full PPR. That's how you do it, folks. That's how you do it. Henry for Ridley. Smash. Foo Jackin. Tank Dell or Jordan Addison. Give me Tank Dell, baby. Tank Dell to the moon, pal. Tank Dell is doing things. He's going places. Kevin with the $5 trade. Rashad White and Debo for Henry and Judy. Give me Rashad White and Debo. Side of that trade. This one's from Jared. Jared, appreciate you. No message attached. I'll put you over in the corner, or actually, I'll just leave you here and try and find if there's some other message somewhere. But you got to put it in the message, bro, because by the time I get to the super chat, your messages are nowhere near. How are we feeling about reports on Kupp and videos or Taylor working out? I think we're feeling optimistic that Taylor is going to get traded or be playing in week number 5. I think we're probably feeling like, or after week 5, we're probably feeling like maybe he's traded more likely than playing for the Colts in 2023. I don't know that he plays another down for the Colts, but it's certainly possible they throw him in there and say, we're not trading you. You want to come back, be a part of the mix. The problem with that is they could rotate him in a way that just frustrates the hell out of us. So we're hoping for a trade. He'll be happier. He'll want to play for that team. So hopefully he gets traded. What he's going to have to do is swallow his pride and say, hey, you know what? I can't expect that I'm going to get a long-term deal. You know, I got to take the trade in hopes that they do sign me to a long-term deal versus like saying, oh, I won't play for you if you trade for me without a contract. He's going to say, get me out, and I trust you. I trust you more than I trust them to get me a deal, so just trade me. How are we feeling about reports on Kupp? I think Kupp is likely to return very soon, but we still could hear a setback on that. You know, he's out there doing work, but you got to worry about at 30 years old that he doesn't just do exactly what he did, explode for real in a game situation where you go 100% and then tear it. Smitty 0-3, one of my leagues got an L. I got Lamar Jackson, Gibbs, Swift, Chase, Amon-Ra, Waller, Olave, Lockett, Love, Hall, Nico. Very good team. Was thinking of trading Chase for Kenneth Walker. Thoughts? Yeah, I don't mind that trade. I don't mind that trade at all. You do have good RBs in Gibbs and Swift, but your wide receivers are probably your stronger suit. But if you make that trade, obviously they won't be. Your running backs would then be your stronger suit, but that's okay because running backs are tougher and harder to come by. And you got guys like Nico and guys on the bench that are doing well. I would additionally try to trade Love to a QB needy team with Lockett to get an additional wide receiver like Ridley or Waddle and recovery. Then you walk straight to the bank. Opens at 8. You tell them you want to advance on your winnings, and they might just look you in the eye and laugh at you or maybe look to see what they can do. Would you trade Pickens for Godwin? I'd rather have Pickens right now. I just don't trust Godwin's situation being conducive to him and his skill set. This is a throw the ball up to Evans, which is working well, but he's got a catch radius that is unbelievable, whereas Godwin's a finesse player that needs the football delivered in a tight window. Not that Baker's not doing good at times, but it just feels like this isn't the offense for Godwin to thrive in. Trade Breece Hall for Kamara straight up. Take Kamara and run from the veto police, my guy, like as fast as you can. Recovery. Also, would you trade Gibbs for Eckler in a millisecond, my man? In a millisecond, and that's coming from a Gibbs truther. Don't be mad, but I can't. Can I ask why we like Kamara if he wasn't that good last year? Just want to hear the argument, not being negative, just curious. You don't have to worry about that, especially if you're dropping a super chat. I know your intentions are well. Yeah, it's a great question, and a lot of people probably are asking that same question. So 217, you did a good job asking and bringing that up. Number one, he had a lot going on mentally, and he struggled. They also gave him less work. And you could say they do that, right? But who do they have? Nobody. Kendra Miller's okay. He's solid, but Jamal's injured, and this team needs a spark. They also, he looked fine. He looked good. He didn't look bad. If you watch the film on Kamara, he actually looked good. When you say he didn't, he wasn't that good last year, it's his production, but it wasn't really watching the film, and he was good when he leaned upon him. He hit a lot of, a lot of congestion and couldn't slip away, but none of that was his fault. He was still strong looking. He didn't look like he had drop off. So there's that. Okay, so it's like, okay, you come into the season, are they going to use him? Well, in the preseason, bro, they had a drive. He came in, it was all Kamara. Run Kamara, throw to Kamara, run Kamara, throw to Kamara, throw to Kamara. It was all Kamara. The whole offense was run through Kamara. And while that could have got us excited, we got to remember that Fields had 2 unbelievable touchdown throws in the preseason, and that completely was debunked the moment week 1 kicked off. We got to understand that can happen. I believe what I saw with my eyes with Kamara, that my eyes aren't fooling me. He looked phenomenal. It wasn't just that a player caught the football, ran, and took it house like in Fields' case, which I admittedly defended Fields adamantly about that and said, what do you want from him? And I believe my intentions were just, and I believe my logic was sound, in that everybody complained about how Fields didn't have weapons. How was he going to do well? And in the preseason, threw 2 short passes that went for long touchdowns, and they were like back-to-back plays practically, if they weren't back-to-back plays. And everybody started complaining about how that wasn't him. Now, granted, the whole Fields thing's been awful so far, and I've taken accountability for that. I've taken my laps. But like Brett Favre throwing an INT and marching right back onto the field to throw another pass, I'm not scared about what that means for my Kamara evaluation. So I'm going and grabbing Alvin Kamara and playing him like the low-end running back 1 that he is. And I'm drafting him, trading for him, obviously in best ball when we draft tonight on Underdog. I'm drafting him like a low-end running back 1. Hopefully I get him in steal territory. But I love Kamara, and he looked the part in the preseason. Is there some risk involved? Absolutely. But is there win-a-league potential? Well, the thing about it, 217, the reason we've loved him so much all offseason, he was a 7th-round pick. He was a 6th, 7th, and 8th-round pick on Underdog Fantasy all offseason long. He was more of a 5th or 6th-round pick in like sleeper mock drafts and such. Everywhere he was all over the place, different formats, different ADPs, but that was the main reason we loved him so much. Now we're just excited about the return. And I truly believe we're not off base on it. There's risk involved for sure. Kyron and London for Jacoby Myers and Achane. I would say Kyron and London are a little bit safer. But if you want to take a gamble on an Achane, you could do it. But I think you're definitely not paying the right price tag there. Need a running back. Got Swift and B-Rob and Rashad White. Trade Lamb. Need a running back. Got Swift and B-Rob and Rashad White. Trade Lamb. I would take Swift, B-Rob, and Rashad White, and then flip Rashad White and B-Rob for another wide receiver, and then you have Swift and that wide receiver over Lamb, and then I think whole at that point. But I do feel like there's a little bit of risk there making that trade if you aren't able to execute another trade. Need a running back. HN owner wants Dell. I do have Watson, Wilson, London. Should I make this trade? Thank you, Smitty, for everything. I would give up if you need a running back and Dell's like fighting to get into your 3rd wide receiver spot anyway. This is what Dell was drafted for. This is why you picked up Dell. Dell's not just been picked up to start. You're picking him up to get value, to move your lineup around. And you thank Dell for it. You say, thank you, Dell, for your service. And it's not like you're losing anything. You're getting a player that has as much, if not more, upside. And to be frank, bro, my Amazing Joe, if you look at my waiver wire show, if you go back and rewatch that, I have Achane as the number 1 pickup of the week, and a 10 out of 10 if we're looking at the confidence scale, a 10 out of 10 in my confidence of him being the best pickup of the year in 2023. So as much as I love Dell is still potentially an 8. Achane is a 10, and so Achane to the moon. And I definitely make that trade. Need a running back? Yeah, okay. Got you, Amazing Joe. Appreciate you very much. This is Van Dam coming in strong. Hey, Smitty, 0.5 league. Traded James Cook for Swift straight up. I take Swift in a millisecond. Got blasted by the league for it as I got shafted. Do you agree? Traded James Cook for Swift. How you going to get blasted for that, Van Dam? You blasted him. I'll even hit the button. I'm not saying James Cook isn't good. I like James Cook, but Swift, he's playing like a monster right now. What's your league doing? How are they going to blast you for that trade? Have your commissioner call me. I'd love for him to dial into the phone line. How are you going to blast someone? You could at least say, hey, that's even Steven. And then I go, I don't really agree. I think Swift's better, but I can understand and respect that. Blasted you? I don't think so. You got him.
Got him.
Unreal. Thank you, Van Dam. And from the chat, Moore says, guys, Swift or Gibbs week 4? Probably Swift, bro, for now. But it's tough, you know. I mean, anything can happen. They're talking about two guys I love. Here we go. Hits with a super chat. Trade Mixon for Kyron and Achane. I take Kyron and Achane and I run from the veto police. And then maybe flip Kyron or flip something. What are your thoughts on Keenan Allen right now? Sell high. Only sell high on anybody. Keenan Allen's playing out of his mind. That's another player that I missed hardcore on, at least now. But even I have to admit that I missed regardless, because even if he was going to play this well, and let's say gets hurt, like he's such an injury-prone player, and gets hurt on week 6, and everybody goes, Smitty was right. Ultimately, technically speaking, I'm going to tell you, I wasn't really right, because what I should have been advising if I was going to be on total point on the topic is draft him, ride the wave, trade him before he gets injured. That would be the correct advice if I truly believe that Keenan Allen was going to get hurt. But I don't know that I'm just going to go down that road right now. He's playing out of his mind, and Mike Williams is injured and out for the year. But him and Mike Williams were two of the most injury-prone players, and one of them is already down. And so it's very possible that, you know, selling high smart, but only sell high. Only sell high. Cooper Kupp, that's a pretty decent play, but I think most people would rather have the guy that's performing, and he's performing like Cooper Kupp would be performing if he's out there. So I'd say that's probably not the move. I'd go after a different player that's not you know, having a whole bunch of injury risk himself. So I'd probably say keep Keenan Allen, go for a different move, but selling high is not a bad idea. Like I said earlier, go after Ridley and Achane, go after Waddle and Achane, go after Devonta Smith and Achane. That's what I would do versus what you're doing. Sup Smitty, 14 team 0.5, QB Burrow, Purdy, Geno, Bijan, Gibbs, JT, Achane, Olave, Addison, Dell, Dotson. Any moves? This is hard. I'm probably going to say the move here is to trade Addison and maybe Gibbs for one better player, or Addison and Burrow, or Addison and Purdy to try and get a quarterback bump somewhere. Anthony Richardson comes to mind. Anthony Richardson would be beautiful for this team, whether you're using Dell or Addison to get that done, and Burrow. I think Anthony Richardson would be safer. However, you could bank on Burrow. Purdy's not bad. You could say, hey, Burrow looked good to a degree last week, and I think that's going to revive his touchdown production, even though he didn't score touchdowns. And you just say, let's let it ride. Bijan, JT, Gibbs is the wild card. Olave, Dell's playing wide receiver 2 good right now, and you let it ride. There's not a lot to do. Achane would be an amazing go-get, but you'd have to use something like Addison, and that takes away from the wide receiver. So you probably just hang tight. Maybe Quentin Johnston and Dotson, Quentin Johnston, and somebody for Achane would be good, and then you let this other part of it ride for a week, and then you come back. That was from Jared, who dropped the other additional super chat. I appreciate you dropping a second one, pal. You are the man. That helped me out a lot, not have to go searching for it anyway. So you are the man. Appreciate you. Moonshot to you.
To the moon.
Moonshot to you, Jared. Appreciate you. Hurts, AJ Brown, or Diggs, ETN. I mean, this depends on your quarterback situation. If you have no quarterback, I'm going to say give me Hurts and AJB. If you've got, let's say, T-Law or above, and you're just kind of trying like Anthony Richardson, T-Law, we're talking like no quarterback, then, you know, maybe Diggs and ETN is a more attractive combo to own, but this definitely depends on the team need. But I do like Hurts so much. Hurts and AJ Brown are going to carry you each week. Trade away CD for Achane and Dell. Not enough. That's what you call buying high on Achane and selling low. So that's not a trade I would Smitty approved. Even though I like the thinking and where your mind's at, I don't like that trade. It's not even close. 12 PPR, Herbert, Diggs, Chase, Kamara, Henry, Laporta, and Palmer. James Palmer's in a flex. Trade away Stevenson, Kirk, and London for Chase last week, currently 0-3. So you traded that away. That's a fantastic move at the end of the day, honestly. So you got Chase, you got Diggs, you got Justin Herbert, Kamara, Derrick Henry. Great team. The only thing I'm doing is trying to trade Henry away for that Ridley, if you can use the other wide receiver and actually start the other wide receiver. Ridley and Achane, Ridley and Hall type of player. Ridley and Gibbs type of player. Devontae Smith and Hall. Devontae Smith and Achane. Waddle and Achane. That type of player for Henry. I think those are all doable trades. Very, very doable trades. Very Christian Watson and Gibbs. Christian Watson and a running back. Those are all moves that I would make. Henry should be able to get you that. I know he's not easy to trade right now, but keep sending out multiple offers. There are so many running back needy teams. I find it really hard to believe unless nobody trades in your league at all, and then you're stuck anyway. I find it hard to believe that running back needy teams won't take a gamble on Derrick Henry because the running back position's in shambles. Do I trade Myers, Jared Cook for Cooper Kupp? I would take Cooper Kupp if you have the depth, and you say you do, so I trust you, and I Smitty approve you, and that's a great job. We got a couple $20 haulers, or at least one. Zach coming in with a 20 watt on screen. Zach, appreciate you for the $20 super chat. We got Ken Miller with a $20 super chat. You guys get immediate assistance. Appreciate you guys coming in strong with these $20 wads on screen. We've got Steve Opener. Appreciate you, Steve, for dropping the $50 or the $20 hauler. Scared you there. I didn't. I made a trade offer, my Achane and Lockett for Bijan and Metcalf. I think that's a little greedy. Like, I think you would just ask for Bijan. Would this be something the other person would consider? The answer is no. They'll probably reject just Achane and Lockett for Bijan. And I don't know that I mean, I don't know that I'd give Achane and Lockett for Metcalf. It's pretty close, to be honest. That one's close, just 2 for 1. But yeah, you're asking for way too much. I would dial it back and ask just for Bijan. And if you got to throw something else in, do it. If you got to throw in a little bit better wide receiver, bring that wide receiver to me. But that's definitely not going to get accepted. If it did, that's borderline replace that owner next season if they do it. Thank you for that $20 hauler, bro. $20 hauler to the moon. You're the man. You are the man, broski. Where's my $20 hauler?
Alert. Super chat alert.
Steve Opener, $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Steve Opener coming in strong. 1 and 2, Love, T-Law, Pollard, Pierce, Ford, Achane, Hall, Roshan, Jamar, Ridley. Your team's very, very solid. Watson, Laporta. What trade should you make? Owner up ETN, Hill, and Jacobs wants Love. Perfect. Roll the dice on T-Law. I feel confident enough, and hopefully you can pick up like a Brock Purdy or somebody just to back yourself up a little bit. But I feel confident enough in Love to say, or T-Law to say, let's trade Jordan Love and potentially try and get a player in here. So you got Pollard and Pierce. You got your wide receivers are off the hook with Jamar Chase, Ridley, and Christian Watson. I love Achane, Pollard, and Hall, but you would be very, very smart to maybe use Love and let's say a Palmer, Love, and let's say a Ford, Love, and let's say even a Pearson, Love, maybe to go get an ETN. I don't love Jacobs. Tyreek Hill would be a home run. And even though you're good at wide receiver and shaky at RB, or not shaky at RB, lesser at RB for now until HM proves himself or Hall comes back, I would much rather you say, I'm only taking Hill, bro. I'll give you freaking Ford, Love, and let's see here for Hill. I don't know that you're going to be able to. Love, Pierce, and Dell for Hill, you're not going to get it. You're just going to swing at it. And then if you've got to give up, let's say, I give up Ridley and Love for Hill. I would try and get something back, but that's a smart move. I would try and lowball him at first. And if not, then the other route, ETN's, using just the Ford and Love and potentially a very bench wide receiver. Maybe that's the easier move for you to make without giving up Ridley and feeling like, my team's changing and I don't want to give up Ridley and Love, have no backup quarterback. I liked Ridley a lot anyway, Smitty. So trust your gut. But either way, those are good moves. But try and lowball him at first. You don't like Ford very much. I do, Cosmic. I've talked up Ford quite a bit. I just think he's a great sell off of his multiple touchdowns and low yardage. It's just a good time to potentially sell. Plus, Hunt is there to consume some of the work. 12-team 0.5 PPR. I have Lamar, Pollard, Connor, Keenan Allen, Dell, Patty, Freiermuth, Breece Hall, Dobbs, Dotson, JSN, Kincaid. The league has position limits, so there isn't often cross position trades. I need to trade Madison. Who should I target? No one's going to give up. If it's position limits, nobody's going to want Madison, even if you dropped him, probably, bro. But I mean, I would try my best to trade Madison for Achane. I would try my best to get into a potential, Hall, doubted Hall. I like upgrading Lamar slightly, but it's going to be hard to move him. I don't know that he's got any value. You got to give up like a Dell for Achane and just give Madison away. I mean, with position limits, I imagine the waiver wire's got a lot of good players that you could throw into this and say, let me factor that in as if I'm getting that player in the trade. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to be hard to get rid of Madison. No one wants Madison right now, especially in a position limit type of league. $5 hauler, 12-team PPR. Thank you for your super chat, though, and try for Achane. That would be my best advice. PPR, 1 QB. QB's Burrow, Love. Trying to trade Burrow if you can and ride Love. Go to the QB needy team. Monty and Burrow for an upgraded running back. Breece Hall, Achane, I like that. Ridley, Judy, London, JSN. You could also do this for a wide receiver. So Burrow and potentially Monty, or Burrow and Judy, Burrow and London for a Waddle or Devonta Smith. Those are my pieces of advice for you. That's what I would target immediately if I had that team. I'd march out there right now and make those offers. Who do you flex this week? PPR, Hall, Flowers, DJ Moore, Musgrave. Probably going to go with Zay Flowers. He's getting the targets. I think the touchdowns are going to come. Breece Hall is hard to sit. We could address this later too, because I could see myself changing. I'm going to tell you right now, I could change my mind on Hall and Flowers. Roshan or Hall? Probably Hall. I don't think I could sit Hall in that dilemma. Although Roshan I still hold. I firmly believe he's got still near win a league potential if he gets in there and the Bears start. They got an easier schedule and they start getting to the run to try and help Fields out. Hey Smitty, 1 and 2, 12 team, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex. Burrow, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, Waddle, Christian Watson, Tank Dell, Goddard, Hall, and Tutu. Bench is McKinnon, Hill, Charbonnet, and Mooney. Any ideas? I love the wide receiver or the running backs, and obviously shaky a little bit with Burrow, but the fact that you have such, like, I don't want to say little depth at your other positions. You got Bijan, Kenneth Walker, you got Waddle, Christian Watson. It's not like you have the ability to just trade bench or starting lineup pieces or near starting lineup pieces or your third wide receiver to go upgrade Burrow. You kind of got to bank on Burrow. If I'm you, I'm banking on Waddle and Christian Watson. I'm not really worried about getting rid of those two. I'm not getting rid of Kenneth Walker or Bijan. I'm banking on Burrow. And the only thing I'm looking to do, probably waiting on Hall to just come back, or potentially trying to trade Tutu Atwell on the high. And I don't know what you could couple them with, like Tank Dell and Tutu for one better player. Tank Dell for Achane to just get another RB in there to help solidify the RB room a little bit. Tank's nice, though. He's a great wide receiver 3. Tutu isn't a bad wide receiver 3, though, if you got to go that route. I mean, if anything, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, and Hall, maybe you're stronger at running back than you are wide receiver, and you just hold on to Tank. I'd probably say final answer is wait. Let Tank Dell gain even more value. Let Goddard have a nice week. let McKinnon have some touchdowns or something, and then come back around and potentially make a trade. But I don't know that you can do anything here because you're just depleting your lineup. You don't have a lot of depth. Not a bad thing. It's just, it's hard to make a move. Lockett or Wilson. I probably go Lockett, safe play. Garrett Wilson, high risk, high reward. So whatever you need to win the week. Lockett seems pretty safe though and steady as long as he's healthy going into the game and everything. 12 man PPR 1 and 2. I have Achane, Swift, McCaffrey, B. Hall, Ridley, Garrett Wilson, Godwin, Judy, Love. I love it. That's a great team. Fantastic. Would you trade Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall for Olave and Pacheco? In a heartbeat? In a heartbeat. That doesn't mean I don't love Garrett Wilson. Doesn't mean I don't love Breece Hall. I just think Olave, I shouldn't say heartbeat. But the problem is, like right now, Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall are both in the same boat. They're disappointing, and you're going to throw them out there, and if they get you nothing, you're just going to continue to be an apologist like Salah is about Zach Wilson. We're apologists for Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, and I'm admitting that. And I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. Right now, you get Olave, Pacheco, you maybe trade Pacheco, and you're getting something secure for sure. I would say in a millisecond. I would say it's hard to say that because there's two really good players right there. But it is what it is at this point. I'm not saying it won't rebound. I'm not saying Breece Hall is not a great buy low. But when you own him already, it's a different vantage point. 10-team non-PPR, start one of each. Love or Goff? Love. Mixon or Hall? I guess Mixon for now. Flowers or Tutu? Give me Flowers. Ferguson or Goddard? Give me Goddard, but Fergie's a nice play. That's not a bad... You got some good options there. Ken, appreciate you. Ken, I know this is not popular type of question, kicker question. I picked up Jake Moody off of waivers and benched Tucker. Good move. Look, Moody's playing out of his mind right now. I don't think that's bad at all. $10 super chat sends you to the moon, my man Ken Miller. Appreciate you. And there's nothing wrong with Tucker. Tucker was my sleeper kicker of the year, if you guys remember that video. And I was eating my words and kind of like almost taking my lap and my tail between my legs in the preseason when Moody came out in that preseason debut and missed like 4 field goal or four kicks in a row. But Moody was my kicker sleeper of the year, and that's looking pretty damn good right now, I must say. Fields, Devontae Smith, Najee, Warren for Diggs, Goff, and Quentin. You know what's crazy about this trade? I assume you don't need a quarterback. If you do, then I understand why you would maybe do it. But the thing I hate about this trade is Devontae Smith is not that far off from Diggs. Not that far off. He's not there. Diggs is definitely top 12. Smith's in the second round. But they're close. How the hell is Najee Harris and Warren together not closing this gap for me? They're not. They're not closing the gap. Najee seems worthless right now. I'm going to lean Diggs side. And that's crazy that Najee can't close that gap. That's how bad he's playing right now. $10 hauler from James going to the moon, James. And if I'm wrong on that, chat, if I'm just upset at Najee, please correct so Overcome gets some good advice there. Maybe I'm a little upset at Najee, but I don't even own him. I'm just upset he can't. He's a professional football player, and he can't deliver and help the owners that drafted him. Any moves, 14-team PPR, T-Law, Ridley, Olave, Devontae Smith, Bijan, Gibbs, Ferguson, benches, Wandell, Nico, Roshan, Deontay Johnson. Great wide receivers. No, you hold. This team has no ability to even maneuver. You can't even sell these guys high. None of these guys you can sell high, really. None of them. Not at the value that you should get. That's a hold team if I've ever seen one, and I'd be doing you a disservice telling you to make a trade. Trade Walker and Laporta. Thank you for your super chat. Trade Walker and Laporta for Pollard and Andrews. I would probably... Woo! What's the chat think on this one? Help Joey out. Walker and Laporta or Pollard and Andrews? Please cast a vote. Pollard and Andrews or Walker and Laporta? Please vote. Please vote. Okay. Be nice in the chat. I just saw someone write something awful to somebody else. Watch your language when you're talking to everybody else. Bijan, 12-team PPR. Bijan, Gibbs, Waddle, DK, Swift, White, Javonte. What's the best trade I could do for any of some of the team B? What? 12-team PPR. Team B, Bijan, Gibbs, Waddle. I have DK Swift. Okay. White, Javonte, what is the best trade I could do for any of some of Team B's players? Bijan, Gibbs, Waddle. White and DK for Bijan. White for Gibbs. Javonte and White for Gibbs. Javonte and White for Waddle. DK for Waddle. DK and White for Waddle and something. All those would apply. Appreciate you. What are we doing on this Laporta? We got Walker, Laporta, Pollard. Pollard, Walker, Pollard, Walker, Walker. This is all over the place. Pollard over Walker, Andrews over Laporta. This is too easy. This is Tony. I don't know about that. Laporta's pretty darn good right now. Yeah. All right, there you have it. I would agree that the Pollard Andrews side feels a little bit tougher, you know. But they're both really good. I mean, both sides could win that trade. Start my lineup: 1 QB, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 3 flex. So Burrow, Love. Pollard's your RB. Your wide receiver is Jamar Chase. Okay. Your 3 flex plays are Gibbs, Achane, and probably DJ Moore. DJ Moore, Breece Hall. Frost, we got to take that one as it comes. That one's a hard question to answer at this moment in time. Need running back help. What running back return do I need for Justin Jefferson? You can't really get a running back in return for Justin Jefferson. You need a Bijan and a freaking Christian Watson. And even that, you're probably getting laughed at. And so I'm mainly giving an example you can't use. You need a Pollard and a Pollard and a Diggs. You need a Pollard and an AJ Brown, at the very least. Like you need 2 top 15 overall players. There's just no other reason. You cannot trade JJ for a running back. You know, Christian McCaffrey. I get Eckler and Waddle. Eckler and maybe a wide receiver a little bit lower than that. That's maybe undervalued. Maybe a Eckler and Debo. I mean, Eckler and Devontae Smith, obviously. But you need an Eckler or a Christian McCaffrey and still need a player. You know what I'm saying? You cannot trade JJ for really anybody 1 for 1. And you still need somebody else. Traded Najee and Sutton for Cup. Thoughts? I don't hate that. Look, at this point, it's like, get what you can for Najee. I'm going to have a video. Hopefully it comes out before tomorrow. Where I talk about those trade options. What do you do if you have Najee Harris? And I think I don't know if I have that name written down, but I need to make sure I include Najee. If you have Najee, what do you do? And Cooper Kupp was the one that I was going to suggest as one of the options, because there's a lot of people that just don't want Najee, but Cooper Kupp owner might. St. Brown for Achane, Myers, and Cooks. No way! No way, go! That's an awful trade. Absolutely disapprove that trade. Absolutely disapprove that trade. St. Brown is worth so much more than that. You cannot sell low like that, my guy. St. Brown's a top 12, 13, 14 overall player. 12.5 PPR. Burrow, loves your starter. Walker, DeMonte, Madison, Roschon, Chase, Wilson, London, Moore, Laporta, and he moves. Was offered Breece and Dino for Love and Madison. Yeah. I take Breece in that situation. I would try and give him, I almost feel like, I'd try and give him Burrow in a way, just because Love's healthy, and so I would maybe look to that. You might not want to do that. I know that sounds, you have Chase and Burrow, you want the stack. I can understand not doing it, but Love and Madison for Breece and Geno, I would do that. That's a good trade. That sounds good. I mean, look, Breece Hall may take a couple weeks. You just got to know that. Diggs for Higgins and Waddle. I'd rather have Diggs. I don't think Higgins has earned any respect from us right now. JJ and Gibbs for Chase and Devon Achane and Montgomery. Gibbs and JJ by a lot. Can't trade JJ. That's selling JJ way too low. PPR Kamara and Muth Johnson for Hawkinson and Ramondre. Kamara, Muth, and Johnston for Hawkinson and Ramondre. I lean Hawkinson and Ramondre, but I still try and flip Ramondre. I'm not sold on Ramondre. It's hard to trade him, though, so that's a tricky one. If you can add more to it, I might revisit the trade. Should I trade A.J. Brown and Kamara for Chase and Hawkinson? I'd rather have Kamara and A.J. Brown. I just think Kamara has more value for you or anybody given how poor the running back climate is. I know that tight ends are hard to come by as well, but I just take that running back side. Allen and Jones, Kamara or Goff, Walker, ETN. Josh Allen, Aaron Jones, Kamara or Goff, Walker, ETN. Give me the Josh Allen side by quite a bit. Broski. This one from Easy Zeddy. Appreciate you, Zeddy. 2-1, 12 team, 2 flex QB, Allen, running back Jacobs, and James Cook, Ramondre, Roshan, Charbonnet, Keenan Allen, Puka, Dotson, Elijah Moore, JSN, tight end Kincaid, Jacobs for Flowers and Pierce. Not enough for Jacobs. I would rather Jacobs have one more game and be able to sell him higher. I love Flowers, and Pierce is a buy low, but I don't think you're getting enough fair market value. I'm not saying don't keep trying or tweak it and make it just slightly better. Maybe there's a player you throw in that would change it for me, swapping out somebody, but you need more. 12 PPR being offered Mixon, Madison, Metcalf, and Tank Dell for Pollard and Kamara. Pollard and Kamara by a country mile. I also have Swift Lamb. Yeah, I don't even care who you have because that's a horrible trade. You know what I mean, Marquez? So I'm not going to even contemplate what's on the roster. Appreciate you. $5 hauler, 10-team PPR, Allen, Bijan, Swift, Olave, Debo, Watson, Wilson. So the question is what? Watson, Wilson, or Kamara at flex? Watson, Wilson, or Kamara at flex? Kamara. Easy. Bench, Fields, Dotson, Nico, Palmer. Trade suggestions. I love Bijan and Swift. I love Josh Allen. I love Olave, Debo. I don't see anything you need to do. You got Kamara. This is a great team. It's a great team. I let this team ride. I let it all gain value. There's a lot of players that still gain value. Sometimes standing down is the move to make. I've just been making up stuff to try and mess your team up. I'm not doing that. Great team. Smitty approved. You know, sometimes you go to the doctor, there's nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's just nice to hear it. So I gave you your clean diagnosis. Appreciate you. Trade Saquon away for Ridley. I would take Ridley. And I know there's some risk on both sides of that, really, but I take Ridley. I have faith in Ridley. I think he does well. Moving forward, talking to JT owner ideas. I have A-Rich, T-Law. Is he need a quarterback? That would be an easy decision. Send him T-Law. Would I bank on T-Law to get JT? Probably, but it depends on what you gave up. Keenan Allen, Olave, Pittman, Sutton, Dell, London, Pollard, K9, Mostert. Mostert's perfect for this. Mostert, I know everybody loves him. Mostert and Waller for JT. That's the easiest thing I could cook up right now. And if he needs a quarterback, throw in T-Law and he gives you something back. Pittman and Sutton, I easily throw them into a deal. Mostert, Waller, get it done. Easiest thing I could come up with right on the night is that one right there. I could easily predict that one is an easy trade to get done if he's willing to trade JT. Maybe he's not willing to trade JT at all, but if he was. $10 hauler from my boy Short. Short, appreciate you. I'm getting offers for Saquon. Do I take AJB and Laporta? Absolutely. D. Adams straight up? Sure. And which one do I like better? Probably AJ Brown and Laporta if you need a tight end. If you're not super needy at tight end, then I guess Adams straight up is pretty damn good, but they're both very, very fantastic. Or Ridley and Swift. That one's even better. Ridley and Swift is even better. All of them are acceptable. Ridley and Swift, all of them. Appreciate you. All of those for Saquon. Get it done. Very easy decision in my opinion. Money Mitch coming in with a $10 hauler. Money Mitch, appreciate you. Money Mitch says, hey Smitty, 12 team, half PPR, 3 wide receivers. I'm 0-3. Cousins, Burrow, Bijan, Algier, Gibbs, Madison, Pittman, Watson. Subscribe if you're new. We got 700 people in here, and only probably about 50% of you have actually subscribed, and you just keep watching the show every time, not subscribing. It helps the channel. Hit the thumb up button on the way in the door. We've got 242 thumbs up, which is respectable, but we do have 700 people watching, so hit that thumb up button if you could. Money Mitch, 12-man league. Madison, Pittman, Grab Burrow with $85 of fab. Trade Burrow, Flowers for Garrett Wilson. Too risky. Yeah, Flowers is going to be close to Garrett Wilson. I'm telling you, he's ramping up. So this isn't the move. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. This is sad to say. It is what it is. I wish I could come in and tell you different, but you lose your starting quarterback, it changes a lot, and we can continue to be apologists for the situation like Salah's being for Zach Wilson, or we can just acknowledge that there's value in buying low on Garrett Wilson, but I don't know if I'm giving up Burrow and Flowers when you could trade Burrow and Flowers for maybe a different player. Trade Burrow for Achane. Something along those lines. Go get a Christian Watson type player. I don't know if you have him here, but that's definitely something I would look to do. Those types of players. Breece Hall, see, and even Breece Hall, I'd stray away from that one if you could get like a Gibbs or JT or Cooper Kupp or something like that. CMC trade for Bijan Robinson. You need to get more because fair market value commands that you get more for Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't even matter if you quietly like the trade. You get more because you're commanded to get more by the market. Running back room of Hall, Javonte, Pacheco, Spears, Jeff Wilson. I traded Andrews for Swift. I don't mind that at all. My tight end is Laporta. That's fantastic. How'd you do? Great. 0-3. Don't worry. You're waiting on some of your running back rooms to room to be consistent, but Swift helps you out a ton. So Swift and Hall, very exciting for the future. Not saying Hall is for sure going to pop off and prove you proud yet, but he certainly will eventually. So hang tight and be patient. Tyler coming in with a $20 wad on screen. Tyler, appreciate you. You get immediate assistance. Foos coming in with a 20 spot, getting immediate assistance. Appreciate you. J-Bone coming in with a $20 hauler. J-Bone is the man. Appreciate you, J-Bone. And Tyler coming in with yet another $20 hauler. Appreciate you, broski. Tyler with 220 wads on screen. Tyler's getting help first.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Damn, Tyler. Coming in strong, bro. Start Mixon or Kyron or Monty if healthy. I go Kyron. I still think Kyron's the better start, but Mixon looked better, and I trade him high, to be honest. Start Goff or Burrow. And start to Mixon, Monty if he plays, and Kyron. So again, if I'm starting two out of these, I would go Mixon and Kyron until we know how healthy Monty is by watching him, not by hearing it, to be honest with you. Starting Goff or Burrow. Goff safer, but if we're feeling good and optimistic about Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, I think we go Burrow. If we're hearing good vibes and good, we know he didn't suffer a setback necessarily, but I want to hear that he's more mobile or just feel very confident that he's not super questionable again going into the game. And it's not just like the plan is for him to start and, do the same thing. So we'll have to wait and see. But Goff is a little bit safer if you need safety, and we'll have to play it by ear as we head into the game. You know what I'm saying? We have a very short amount of time to figure it out, but I think we'll know a little bit more tomorrow. But I would say, right now you put Goff in and you leave him there until you're forced to, you know what I mean? You're forced to make a trade. Because what if you go into the bathroom right now, slip, hit your head, and Burrow sitting in there and, just put the safe player in. Smitty 0-3, and I've got Hurts, Pierce, Kyron, Higgins, Puka, Kelsey, Achane starting, Christian Watson, Palmer, Mims, bench. Should I be holding this roster or looking to ship Achane and Pierce and Higgins? I would definitely ship Higgins away if you can. I think Kyron and Higgins for a JT or a Camaro would be unbelievably ideal. I think Achane, if you could sell him high, but I kind of feel like he's not an easy player to sell high, so I just hold him. And I think if you're able to maybe trade away Kyron and Higgins, or really, I almost feel like maybe like Higgins and Kyron could get you. I don't know what you can get for that. I don't know if you can. JT would be perfect. Camaro would be perfect. I don't know if you can get any better than that. I don't know if you would accept anything lower than that. Puka for a player straight across like a Devontae Smith. Throw in some bench player like Mims or Palmer if that gets it done. And I'm just like go down the pecking order. Puka for Waddle. Puka for Devontae Smith. And just get into a safer vehicle. Puka and Pierce for one better player. And you got to hit the waiver wire, though. You didn't give me a bunch of your bench. So I imagine you got some players like Dell or something that can help you out. But I would poke around at every single one of those ideas. But Kamara, JT are the first players that I'm targeting. Bijan would be amazing for that combination, but you probably won't get it. Buying Gibbs low would be interesting, but you'd have to get something with them if you were to trade. Or Pierce for Gibbs and throw in a bench player, something like that. Breece Hall would be interesting to go get for Pierce or something, just to get that swing, that home run swing. 10 team, this is J-Bone.
Alert. Super chat alert.
J-Bone, appreciate you. $20 hauler, 10 team.5, 0-3. Any moves you think I should make? Allen, JJ, Ayuk, Walker, Gibbs, Rashad White, Breece Hall, fantastic. Rashad White's expendable, given that your third running back could be Breece Hall, and you get Roshan. So I'm improving the wide receiver room. Hopkins and probably Rashad White could get you a Devontae Smith, could get you a Waddle, could get you a wide receiver to the tune of a Ridley, to the tune of maybe a St. Brown, to an A.J. Brown, to a Deebo Samuel. Those are all good moves. If it were me, I would make those moves. Or Rashad White straight up. You could go as low as like a... I mean, Ayuk's pretty good. Oh, JJ, I'm sorry. Yeah, you got JJ. So JJ Ayuk's, that's strong. Let's see here. Ken Walker, Gibbs. Maybe running back's the best opportunity for you. I do like Ayuk and JJ. I'm fine. I'm sorry. I forgot you had JJ. Rashad White and Hopkins. I still attack those trades. Rashad White and Hopkins for Ridley. Rashad White and Hopkins for St. Brown. Rashad White and Hopkins for Waddle. Rashad White and Hopkins for Deebo. All those players. But I still use that same package to go get players like Rashad White and Hopkins for Aaron Jones, for Eckler, Hurt, for JT, for Kamara, all those moves. Sharp's owner won't trade me. Thanks, Smitty. Appreciate you. Good team. Very good team. I mean, you got a good squad. Wait on Breece Hall. Don't sell him cheap. Rashad White and Hopkins, you've got to be able to get one player. Even if it's slightly better. Like Lamb could be had using Rashad White and Hopkins potentially. And you could always throw in a Gabe Davis for free. You know, you could always potentially use Ayuk and Rashad White to go get a Ridley or a St. Brown or higher type monster. Appreciate you. This one is from TM42. Heineke, O'Connell, Levis, Wentz, stash one, O'Connell. Heineke's a little interesting, but like, how long, you know? But O'Connell's the best quarterback of them all. He's impressive. So if he gets in there, he'll actually be good. Start one, PPR, flex, Dotson, Breece, or Palmer. I'm going to go Breece right now at this moment in time. This one's a $7.99 PPR trade. I give Chase, Madison, Roshan for Ridley, JT, Kyron. That JT side by a mile. Ridley and Chase there's a difference, but like, how big of a difference is it? JT and Kyron crush the other side of this trade. This is the easiest trade I've Smitty approved all night. The JT side is killer, bro. Absolutely amazing. Fane coming in with a $10 hauler. Fane, appreciate you for the $10 hauler. 2-1 full PPR, 12-man. I know he's a moon man, but I wanted a stronger flex. Traded Gibbs for Waddle. I would have done that too, so don't even apologize for it. My team is now Love, Fields, Waddle. You're starting Love, Ridley, Bijan, Pacheco, Deebo, Goddard, Moss. Very good squad. And probably a wait and see at that point from everything, you know, else that's maybe on the struggle bus or trying to come back. You'll definitely be good eventually across the board. So just be patient with that team. Chris with a $2 hauler, no message attached. Make sure you guys attach the message. I don't see the messages for so long that your message is nowhere near it. Like, I know you think, oh, I'll type a message right after it. Not gonna see it. So I'll try and look for it later, Chris, but you got to attach it. Please, guys, if you do a super chat, attach the message in it. Does Roshan go off this week against that tough Broncos defense? I would say Roshan's a fantastic hold. We have the waiver wire show. Go watch it, but here's the waiver wire order, and Roshan is still very high. And I'd venture to say, like, I could swap these guys at any point. I think I've done it over and over. But Roshan's still a league winner. Achane was obviously the 10 out of 10. for being the best pickup of the year. Roschon's still a 7 or an 8. There's still potential for Roschon to really help some people. So absolutely, Ray, appreciate your super chat. Richardson, Love, Bijan, Swift, Javonte, Algier, Ridley, Dell, Garrett Wilson, trade Garrett Wilson, Javonte. Any ideas? Yeah, I mean, Devontae Smith would be fantastic. You have Ridley, Tyreek. Devontae Smith would be fantastic. JT, Kamara, ETN would be interesting for this team. I think Garrett Wilson and Javonte may not get you ETN. If we go to the fantasyfootballshow.com rankings and we look at the rankings, let me look at some running backs. So I'd probably say Aaron Jones, ETN, Kamara, JT, injured Eckler, but you'd have to give more. The running backs are that bad. Like the running, like you can't even come up with very many more names than that. If we're talking about an RB, Javonte and Garrett Wilson, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs. You know, you overpay a little bit for Jahmyr Gibbs. You already have Swift and Bijan. That's fantastic. If you're going to get a wide receiver, it's probably a lot easier. You have Tyreek and Ridley and Dell. Those are good. But would I maybe give up Garrett Wilson and Dell or Garrett Wilson and Javonte to go get someone like St. Brown, or you got Ridley, Tyreek, someone like A.J. Brown, St. Brown, St. Brown, Olave would be good. I think maybe Garrett Wilson and Dell, Garrett Wilson and Javonte. I'd even use all three of them to get the right piece. But that team's really, really solid, Joseph. I don't think there's any desperate need to go after anybody this week too, because you got a lot of time for those guys to be amazing. Missed beginning Burrow panic, Evans for Burrow. I'd take Burrow or Evans over Burrow. If you need a quarterback very badly, I think you're overpaying though, because there's panic on him. Do I buy him if I need a quarterback? Yeah. Do I get rid of him if I have him in Love? Yeah. So it's like a vantage point. What vantage point? If you don't own him, he's pretty easy to buy and he's attracted to buy, but not using Evans. That's overpaying. But if you have him, you're panicked. So you got to figure out contingency plans. So the take on Burrow was that there's two sides of the coin. Do you own him or do you not? And then you have different vantage points and different points of getting away or attacking. Hey, Smitty, I got Allen, Gibbs, Achane, Barkley, JT, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Thielen, Dell, Hawkinson as my top players on my team 1 and 2. Should I stand pat or make any moves? JT coming back. I feel like the running backs can carry me to the chip. Yeah, I mean, Allen, Gibbs, Achane, Barkley. I'm probably trading Barkley, and I believe your running backs are good enough with Gibbs, Achane, and JT that I would contemplate trading Barkley to go get one of them top wide receivers like Ridley, St. Brown, Olave, even A.J. Brown, and something Debo and something potentially. I think Debo and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith all might command a little something extra. You already have Achane, but Achane type of player that I would be targeting. Definitely feel like that's a good move to make. I don't know if you said your wide receivers, Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I mean, so Garrett Wilson and Barkley together even for two players, and maybe you get like a St. Brown and a player that we quietly actually like as much as Garrett Wilson. Thinking like a Pierce or something like that, but Ridley and a Pierce for Garrett Wilson and Barkley. Or you bank on Garrett Wilson and you try and trade Thielen, or you try and trade Dell, or you try and trade, just Barkley straight up for the wide receiver, which is probably the best move of them all, Johnny, if you can get that pulled off. Appreciate you very much, my guy. $5.99 hauler, $4.99 hauler, full PPR, 12-man, T-Law, AR, Ramondre, Warren, Mitchell, Diggs, Lamb, Ridley, Pittman, Elijah Moore, Dotson. Any moves? I mean, you could go to the QB needy owner, just like I keep telling everybody else that's in your situation. You either bank on T-Law or you try and sell T-Law, and you're going to get less for T-Law than you would AR, but I think there's so many QB needy teams in 12-man leagues. I find it really hard to believe you can't find someone with a Geno that is freaking out a little bit, or a Dak, and you could say, hey, I'll give you T-Law, and I'll give you, let's say, Pittman, and you give me so-and-so. Go get Achane using just T-Law. Trade AR for a little bit more. upgrade Ramondre into Pollard using one of your quarterbacks, preferably T-Law. I don't know that I'd throw AR and Ramondre in for Pollard. I mean, I'd rather just figure out something else. Throw in Gainwell if you have to. Diggs, Lamb, and Ridley's solid. Pittman's expendable. As is Ramondre to upgrade Ramondre. T-Law, Ramondre, and Pittman for 1 RB would be fantastic. Ramondre for Gibbs and Christian Watson, and divide and conquer Ramondre into a riskier player, but you like Gibbs, let's say, as much as Ramondre. Or someone like Eckler, Ramondre, and T-Law, or Ramondre, T-Law, and Pittman for an injured Eckler. JT's perfect. Those are all moves I would try and make with that team. Non-PPR, Chase, Taylor for ETN, Dobbs, and Achane. I would take Chase and Taylor by a country freaking mile, and it's not even close, and it probably gets vetoed on that other side. So $10 hauler, appreciate you for dropping that. Freddie to the moon. 10-man PPR, need 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Love is your starting quarterback. Walker and Gibbs or Walker and Kyron are probably your 2 running backs. Your 2 wide receivers are going to be Adams and Dell, and your tight ends obviously Kelsey. And your 2 flex plays will probably be Gibbs and I would say it's either London or Garrett Wilson. Might be to be determined later. If I had to pick now, I would say give me London, I suppose. And I know it's tough to bank on him, but, he did give us signs of life the week prior. So I think it's not crazy to think he does that again. And he's inconsistent, but I would probably bet on him, I guess, this week. T-Law or Love, you're going Love. Absolute Love. Like I've said it all show long. I've said it all last show. I've said it the show before. I've said it the week before. I said it the week before that. Love. Love needs to start. Even if you have Burrow, Love needs to start. Love needs to be activated. Activate, plan Jordan Love. Also, Gibbs or Connor. You got to go Connor for now. He's playing lights out. Good looking, Smitty. Appreciate you, Izzo. Izzo to the moon. Freaking beast. DB12, trade Pacheco and Flowers for Cup and JT. You're not going to get that, DB. It's cute. It's a cute idea, but you can't. You're getting greedy. Pacheco and Zay Flowers won't get you Cup. Pacheco and Zay Flowers won't get you JT, and you're asking for both of them. It's cute, DB. It's cute, but I would take either one, just so you know. But if you land that, we will celebrate in your name and call you the Wizard of the Year. Or we'll give you the Wizard of the Month badge. We'll give somebody the Trade Wizard of the month, for just destroying somebody like that. Trade Kamara, Okonkwo for Achane and Andrews. I'd rather have. I guess I'd rather have Achane and Andrews. Other trades: Kamara and Addison and Okonkwo and Love versus Dimes, Purdy, Olave, Dillon. I don't know if that one. That one's comp. I'd rather have the Love and Kamara side than the Olave, Ingram, Purdy side. But I'd probably say Achane and Andrews for that Kamara, Okonkwo side. It's a pretty good one, Ozzy. I mean, it's tough to say anybody's smashing any of those sides, though. 12-team Dynasty Superflex traded away Moss and Andrews plus a third-round pick. Traded away Moss for Andrews plus a third-round pick. Zach Moss? That's a great trade. Should I use Andrews to get Tank, Dell, Bigsby plus somebody else a handcuff to ETN? No, I'd get something. I wouldn't worry so much about the handcuff. I'd rather get something more significant for that or ride it out. If you can't win, then I don't know if, I just get creative as I could. Like Achane and somebody for Andrews. And you could probably pull in a Christian Watson right now, something like that. But I definitely, if you can win now, I wouldn't be trading Andrews for that low of a price tag. You got a pretty good deal on him. Moves, 18, full PPR, 1 and 2. Mahomes, Pollard, Gibbs, Tyreek, AJB, Devontae Smith. You need no hope. This is a fantastic team. JT on the bench, Dell, B. Hall. Oh, no. I mean, what are you going to do? You got Mahomes, you got Pollard, you got Tyreek, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. That's amazing. That's amazing. You could trade Devontae Smith or AJ Brown into a Ridley. Give up something very small like Elijah Moore, Sutton, Palmer, something like that to just diversify from the Eagles a little bit. But at the same time, you got so much other surrounding talent that it's kind of a safe move in some ways, because if the Eagles do badly, you still can win your league. You got so much other talent. Maybe, I mean, JT's coming in. Maybe you trade Gibbs and Devontae Smith for like a top 4 wide receiver or something. Past that, sit on this team, let some of that bench talent accrue the values that they're coming down the stream, and then you just explode on a trade later. You sit and wait is not a bad approach for you. You got so much talent. Trade Connor for Hall and Warren. Honestly, like right now, Connor's worth holding and letting his value continue to cement itself maybe, but I like Hall eventually. At the end of the day, I think Hall will be beating out Connor in points per game. I just can't guarantee when that is, and I don't want you making a trade that has you waiting on Hall for 3 more weeks and then you're out of it. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful with Hall. Hall's a great acquisition for people that can buy him low, and he's a panic in some sense for people that own him now. Just don't give him away. Love Lamar, K9 Cook, Rashad White, Algier, Pickens, what trades to make. QB needy team. Give him Lamar or give him Love. Trade Rashad White. Get a monster Eckler in there. Get a monster top 5 wide receiver in there. You should be able to get rid of one of those quarterbacks with Rashad White or Flowers or Quentin Johnston or Garrett Wilson and get yourself a top 5 player at their position. You really should, especially if that player might be struggling and the owner of him might not know or feel that he's top 5 at his position, like Eckler. Trade my Olave or Aaron Jones. Trade my Olave, Waller, Ford for Kelsey, Evans, Charbonnet. Olave, Waller, Ford for Kelsey, Evans. Take Kelsey, Evans, Charbonnet in a heartbeat if that's me. Robert, Love, D. Cook for Kamara. I would do that as long as your quarterback situation feels competent. Then I'm taking that Kamara side all day long, bro. Thank you, Anthony, for the $20 hauler. Anthony coming in strong with a $20 wad. Anthony to the moon. Let's go, Anthony. Anthony, my man.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Let's go. 0-3, so stressed. Hurts, Gibbs, Ford, St. Brown, Nakua, Ingram, Tank Dell, Bench, Brees Hall, London. You got a really good team here. I feel like this team can build, but I'm worried about running backs. Look, Gibbs and Ford are sketchy-ish right now. I think if I'm you, I'm taking maybe Pierce is okay, but maybe I'm taking Pierce. Go get Achane. Take a swing using Pierce. Go get Achane. Use London to get Achane. Go get a player that might be a difference maker, home run hitting running back. Maybe you miss on him, but are you really going to miss London on your roster all that much if he's inconsistent? Pierce, if he's inconsistent, so take a stab. Love that you have Christian Watson. That allows you to maybe move Tank Dell for Achane if you want. I also think that, St. Brown, Nakua is good, but maybe Nakua, you try and move for a Ridley, Nakua and Tank, Nakua and London, Nakua and Thielen, Nakua and Pierce. Go get Ridley. Go get Olave. Go get potentially St. Brown. Go get an A.J. Brown type of player. Those are moves I'd make. Running back, it's hard to get a running back right now. So unless you're going to go grab a player on the rise like Achane or go, sleep on Brees Hall for a while, don't give him away for pennies on the dollar and hope that he rebounds. But I love the idea of getting Achane if I'm you, if I'm in that situation, because you got some players that I think can get it done. And trade complete, got Ridley for Gibbs and DJ Moore. I don't mind that. Sad to see Gibbs go, but had to be done. Glump, I appreciate it. Gibbs is definitely solid, bro. But Ridley's a safer bet at this point, especially with all the depth that you have to make moves like that. Got offered a trade for Mike Kelsey and McKinnon for Cook and Kamara and Goddard. I'd take Kelsey. Depends. It depends. I mean, I'm going to say it this way so it helps you. If you had the depth to do it, if you don't have the depth, then you need to make this move to get James Cook, Kamara, and Goddard. If you have a boatload of depth and you're struggling each week to decide who to flex, you can't even start Tank Dell, you can't even start Achane, guys like that, then I'm probably, if I'm you, I'm probably saying I'm keeping Kelsey because I got depth galore. So it just depends on your depth, really, whether you make that kind of move or not. Chris Johnson with a super chat. Chris, appreciate you. You dropped another one earlier, and then you dropped this one, so I appreciate you coming in with another one. $5 hauler. QBs are Goff and Fields. Running backs are Kamara, Walker, Barkley, and Moss, Pierce, Monty. Wide receivers are Chase, Garrett Wilson. Palmer and Mark Andrews, any tips? And real quickly, let me know if I missed any like gifted memberships or something. I haven't had that pulled up, and I want to make sure I'm not messed up on that. Running backs are Kamara, Walker, Barkley. I'm trading Barkley if I can for a Ridley, St. Brown, Olave. Even a Debo plus something. Even a A.J. Brown potentially. Devontae Smith and something if I can get away with that. Your wide receivers, I didn't even look yet to see if you had those guys. You have Devontae Smith. Your receivers are really good, though. Chase, Ayuk, Devontae Smith. Maybe actually you just focus on using Barkley to upgrade your quarterback. Honestly, with Walker, Kamara, and Monty Pierce, and you got Chase and freaking Devontae Smith and Ayuk, Andrews at tight end, I would use Barkley to go get Hurts. I would trade Goff or Fields or both of them and Barkley to go get Hurts or Mahomes. That's what I would do. I would go heavy at the QBs there, and I don't know if you're going to get it done, but if not, go after some RBs like in the JT Kamara range using Barkley and try and get something additional. Waddle and Brian Robinson for Jacobs and Joshua Downs. Waddle side by quite a bit, bro. Probably not even close in my eyes, to be honest with you. Jorge, appreciate you, was offered Olave and Ramondre Stevenson for K9. I would take Olave and Stevenson, but then I flip Stevenson. But that's pretty good because Olave and K9 have close values, and Stevenson's an amazing throw-in that easily closes the gap, but I am worried enough to say trade him, you know. Smitty, my running backs are Sanders, Achane, Hall, Roshan, Charbonnet, and JT on IR. Got to drop one. Who do I drop? I try and trade Sanders away for, I mean, bro, try and get like a Christian Watson or, you know, something to that degree. But I guess you got to drop Roshan, but you have to monitor Roshan, bro. You have to monitor him. He's got league winning potential. I don't want you getting rid of him without keeping a watchful eye on him because he seriously can be that guy. Spear, appreciate you with a $5 hauler, 12-team Superflex PPR. Allen, Young, Howell, Walker, JT, JJ, Olave, Watson, fantastic team. Addison's expendable, Dell's expendable, Tutu's expendable, Pitts is expendable, even if you have to start Kincaid. Got offered Laporta early first for Pitts, Kincaid, Howell, Mechie. So it's super flex. Howell's got a little more value than normal. I don't think so, bro. I know Laporta's playing great, but I still believe I like Laporta right now more than Kincaid at this moment in time, but I'm not giving up on Kincaid. I still think he could be amazing. Laporta's good, though. Early first rounder, no. Oh, wait, hold on. You're getting Laporta and an early first rounder. Smash. I'm sorry. I read that wrong.
You've just been Smitty.
I thought you were giving up the early first rounder. So you got offered Laporta and an early first for Pitts, Kincaid, Howell, Mechie. I do that easily. I'm sorry.
You've just been...
Totally read that wrong, bro. Totally read that wrong. Amazing trade, my guy. Amazing trade. Because you're getting that early first round. That's fantastic. Laporta is playing good enough that you can do that move confidently. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Dopey, rate my lineup. Love, Bijan, Walker, Ridley, Debo, Wilson, Laporta, Fields. I gotta sit. My back's killing me. Laporta, Fields, Hall, Charbonnet, Roshan. Drop a wide receiver for Johnston. No. You're not dropping Garrett Wilson. You're not dropping Dell. You're not dropping JSN. I mean, Dotson and Johnston are close. If you want to do that, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to make it take a lap or anything, but I still believe 3 weeks in, Dotson can't just be discarded. As far as your team, I love Walker, Bijan. D is a great squad. Can you trade like Fields to a QB needy team with Garrett Wilson to get like a Devontae Smith or a player that's struggling a little bit that might be in that ballpark? Would I trade Garrett Wilson right now for Ayuk in a crafty move? Probably would consider that strongly, to be honest with you. I like Ayuk a lot. Garrett Wilson for Achane and something like a Christian Watson. Some people make those kind of moves. or a player like that, I definitely consider that very strongly. This here from $10 hauler from Heat.
To the moon.
Heat, appreciate you, Heat, bringing the heat. $10 hauler. Smitty, I'm 1 and 2. Someone offered me Swift and Evans for Bijan and Garrett Wilson. Not enough for Bijan and Garrett Wilson. Like, Garrett Wilson's good enough that you could say that it's just not weighted properly. Yeah. I would not accept that. I would say like Swift and Evans for Bijan alone is still hard to even do. You know, I probably would strongly consider it, but I think at the end of the day, I'd still say no to that. If that makes you feel any better about my confidence of saying no to the trade offer that you have on the table. G Money coming in with a $20 hauler. G Money to the freaking moon. Let's go, pal.
Alert. Super chat alert.
G Money, appreciate you. Hey, Smitty, 2-1. Team is 12 team, 0.5 PPR. Love, Pollard, K, W3, Chase, Pickens, Musgrave, Flex, Gibbs, Bench, Burrow. Same song and dance here. You're trying to see if anybody needs a QB 12 team league. I imagine they do. So Burrow and Johnston, Burrow and Javonte, Burrow and Burrow and Burrow and Johnston for Christian Watson, Burrow and Johnston for a Hall, or you got Gibbs already, a Hall, Burrow and Johnston for a Hall. I would take that kind of gamble. Burrow for Achane straight up. Wide receivers like Ayuk are interesting. Probably won't get a DJ Moore. I like all those moves. Upgrading Musgrave a little bit, using Garrett Wilson would be interesting, or Burrow if you could get into like a top 3 or 4 tight end. Past that, you know, some of these guys got to gain some value like Burrow to even trade them. So appreciate your $20 hauler. And I like the idea of the quarterback for Achane, bro. I think he could be something special. He may not. Maybe he fails, and that's the way of fantasy football. But will you trade Amon-Ra St. Brown for Kamara? I have Amon-Ra Olave. I like Amon-Ra better than Kamara. I don't think so. I think I would hold on that. You don't want to buy Kamara at that high of a price tag. You know, like Kamara is not top 12 overall. You know, we're hoping he becomes that, but we drafted him cheaper. We're still drafting him in Underdog. We're gonna hopefully, I don't know if we're gonna have time to do one. I'll try and drop one when we get here. But trade Kirk for Hall, definitely 100%. Trade Kirk to get Hall. Although you're saying you have Hall. You traded Kirk to get Hall. Okay, you already did it. Love, Hall, Sanders. I trade Sanders if I can. Amari, Collins, Burrow. Same song and dance here. Burrow and Sanders. Go get somebody else. Burrow and Sanders for Achane. Or Burrow for Achane. Sanders for Achane. Burrow and Sanders for Achane and somebody. Go get Ayuk using Sanders. Go get Kupp using Sanders and Burrow. Go get JT. Go get Debo. Go get AJ Brown. Go get Devontae Smith. Sanders and Burrow for... I don't think you'll get ETN. I don't think you'll get Aaron Jones. Those are all moves I would try and make, but I don't think you'll get them. You'd probably have to throw somebody else in, and I would. Oh, you got JT. You got JT on the bench. Oh, smack. Your team's good, bro. Love, Hall, JT. I still get rid of Sanders and Burrow, though. I'm still trying to get a player. Wide receiver, you got Hill and Amari. It's nice. You get a Ridley somehow. Burrow, look, if the Ridley owner or the Kupp owner or the Olave owner needed a quarterback badly, and even if you had to go Love, I imagine they want Burrow more, though. I don't see how they don't give up Burrow for Sanders, Burrow, and Collins, that one player. I would do that, and I would do it live. I feel like that's easy. I feel like that would be a very easy, doable trade because you're giving up a boatload. It will actually help them. Pitts killed me last year. A-Rod did it this year. I'm sorry, Overcome. A-Rod definitely screwed a lot of people, a lot of Hall owners, a lot of Garrett Wilson owners, a lot of Aaron Rodgers owners, just Aaron Rodgers, people that are going to start him. PPR trade Higgins, Pierce for Kamara, Tank Dell. I would take Kamara, Tank Dell in a millisecond. Easy trade. Roger, $5 hauler, 10-team. Richardson, Love, St. Brown, Cup, Watson, Pickens, Stevenson, Monty, Achane, Taylor. Trade Madison for Hall. Absolutely. And I'd give up a little bit too if I had to. I honestly would. Madison and I'd give up Madison and freaking... I guess you don't... Your bench is so small. I would definitely do that. Go get Hall. Easy. I mean, I would give up Moss for Hall. That one's simple. Guy says, got offered Hall, Breda for Addison. I'd take Hall and Breda. I don't even care about Breda, but I'd take Hall in a millisecond. That's easy. Easy stuff. Dusty, I've got Pittman, trade for Ridley. Ridley by... I don't think you're going to get that. But trade for Ridley. I don't think you're going to get that. If you get that, tell us. We'll hit the got him button. I've got Allen, Dell, JJ. I don't care who you have. You got to take that trade and then flip them if you've got to. But Pittman can't get Ridley. That's crazy if you get that. If you pull that off, that's absolutely fantastic. One of the got him moments of the night, to be honest with you. Rush. Achane Smitty per English language. Achane. It's Achane. It's Achane. Well, you can say Achane if you want. I won't be mad at you. $5 hauler. 10-team. Full PPR. Hurts, Tyreek, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Puka, James Cook, Aaron Jones, JT, Brees, Hall, Mostert, Judy, Dotson. Look, your team's fire across the board. Probably a wait-and-see team unless you're taking James Cook and upgrading James Cook by way of Mostert, by way of freaking James Cook and Puka for one. God, you have JT. You have everybody. This is a wait-and-see team. It's James Cook and Mostert, James Cook and Puka for just one monster if you don't have them all. Olave, Ridley, Diggs, Puka, and James Cook could get you one of those guys easily. And you could even keep... I mean, you got Aaron Jones. This is great. What is this? This isn't a 10-team league. This is an 8-team league. Moves to make, I will wait. Unless you get something to that degree, there's really nothing to trade. I mean, right now, unless you're going to upgrade to a Bijan or CMC using a couple of those guys, that's probably something I would look to do. Upgrade into JJ. What was... Let me pull up his squad one more time. If you were to maybe try and trade Aaron Jones and Puka into Bijan, I'd maybe do that. Into CMC. I don't think you're going to get it necessarily. You could throw in another one of the bench players to get it done, though. Who should I try and get for Jacobs? Devontae Smith for Jacobs. Ridley for Jacobs. Waddle for Jacobs. Eckler. Give up a little more if you have to. Cup for Jacobs probably at this point. JT, I would obviously. Kamara, I obviously would. Christian Watson and Achane for Jacobs, maybe. Aaron Jones for Jacobs. I'd maybe get a little more than Achane, I guess, if you can. So, tough to do. I mean, you can't trade Jacobs for Achane straight up, but you get somebody maybe a little bit better than Christian Watson. Need to wide receiver 2. Who can I get for Rashad White or Mixon? Christian Watson, Devontae Smith. Lamb's probably out of the question. Hurt Cup. Maybe Waddle if you traded both of them. Maybe Smith if you traded both of them. Maybe Ridley if you traded both of them. Olave if you traded both of them. Very easy to maybe do one of those, I think. Flex Hall, Roshan, Vince Fanatic, appreciate you. Warren GSN. I'd probably go with JSN, although Roshan's got a great matchup. Keep tabs on the show. We might switch to a Roshan start. It's a good matchup. Smitty, my boy, what side would you rather have, Ingram, Waddle, or Kelsey Dell? Give me Kelsey Dell. Kelsey Dell, asking for a friend. Okay, Kelsey Dell. Very tough, close call. 217 got offered Kamara and Christian Watson for Debo. Smash, right? Absolutely. Kamara and Debo are even anyway. You get Christian Watson for free. That's an easy call. Recovery, Smitty, would you trade Gibbs for Ridley? I'd rather have Ridley in a millisecond, and that's coming from somebody that loves Gibbs, bro. What can I get for Diggs? Looking for 2-for-1. You go trade Diggs for, like I said, an Achane and Devontae. Achane and Ridley. A Waddle and Achane. a haul in one of those. Christian Watson and bigger name running back. Those are the moves to make. Diggs for Bijan straight up. People will do that. Gibbs and Christian Watson might not even be enough, but that's something like you could start flirting with those types of ideas. Diggs for Devontae Smith and James Cook. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'd say if you need a running back badly and you believe in James Cook, that's not bad. Overcome. I mean, would I do it? I don't know if I would do it, but it's pretty close. Hey, Top G, 12 team, half PPR, QB, Richardson, Gibbs, Swift, Hill, Ridley, Kincaid, Puka, Achane, bench, Charbonnet, Dell, Love, Roshan Watson. Any moves? Your moves are QB, needy, team. Love or Richardson. Go give him that player and get that extra Puka to freaking first round wide receiver status. Diggs level type guy. Puka in quarterback for that Diggs. And I think Puka's playing well enough you can get that done. You can get it done. So trade Love or Richardson, whichever quarterback you can give up, assuming it's a 1 QB league. Christian Watson soon going to gain you more value. Achane might gain more value. Hold Achane. Sit tight. This team doesn't need any moves. Swift, Hill, Gibbs, Richardson, very good. Gibbs and Puka for a slight upgrade. I don't think you could get a Pollard, but you certainly could try. Throw a Dell in. Quarterback, especially if the owner of this Pollard character needs a quarterback. Then you could go Puka, Love, Gibbs, Pollard, and something. Past that, I mean, Bijan, Gibbs, Puka, Love. If the Bijan owner needs a QB, I mean, at least you got some chance of maybe some of those guys having that QB needy, situation. Offer Jacobs and Pittman for D. Henry and Amon-Ra. I would like the D. Henry Amon-Ra side, but then I flip D. Henry the first chance I get. Trade Hill for Waddle and JT. Of course you. Yes. If you need it, if your team's winning and you don't need the depth, don't trade Hill. Why trade someone that's popping off and your team's winning? But if you need it, if you're looking honestly at your team and you can't win with Hill, this is a good move. JT and Waddle. Is there risk involved? Sure. But is it worth the risk? Probably. Myers. Trade Bijan, Amari for AR5 and Walker. Superflex. Yeah, Superflex, you got to take AR5 and Walker. It's an easy call. It doesn't sound like it if you're not in a Superflex like mode or type of thinking, but it is. Trade Mostert, Aaron Jones, Dell for CMC, AJ Brown in a millisecond. You're selling so high off Mostert that isn't even funny. That's awesome. $10 hauler from Nick. Nick, appreciate you coming in strong with a 10 wad, 3-0. You're already doing things right. You don't need to force a trade if you're 3-0. Mahomes, Bijan, K9, Monty, Sharps, Algier, St. Brown, Debo, Pickens, Dell, Flowers. You can tell why you're 3-0. Laporta, you're good. Send a 2-for-1 to upgrade at wide receiver. If I was to do this, my friend, I would say Dell and maybe Monty, Pickens and Monty. I like St. Brown and Debo. Would I upgrade Debo using Monty or using Dell or using Pickens or something like that and try and get into a Diggs? Sure. A Hill, absolutely, I do a Hill. A Diggs, yeah. A Ridley, I'd rather get Ridley using Dell and Monty. I'd rather do something like that. And if not something like that, maybe you're trading because you're so deep at all these positions. You're trading for an Achane and just taking that big swing to throw that RB on that bench. That's a great squad. I honestly think that those are the only moves that come to mind that I'd even entertain. The Devontae Smith, the Ridley, the Waddle type player. Let me see. Let me get that back on screen. Your wide receivers were St. Brown, Debo. Yeah, so Waddle, Ridley, maybe even AJ Brown, Olave, St. Brown, even Cooper Kupp potentially. You might be a good candidate for Cooper Kupp using those players I mentioned, just because you can wait on that. If it comes back, it's game over for you. You're crushing everybody to tiny little pieces. What offer AJ Brown, Achane for my JJ got depth? No, JJ over AJ Brown and Achane by a mile. JJ is not to be traded in this context. JJ, you need to get a freaking AJ Brown and a like Stevenson's not even enough, bro. So like Achane, you can't throw in that. Hurts, Fields, Stroud, Gibbs, Kyron, JT's coming back. Garrett Wilson's tradable. Flowers. I don't see. Where's JJ? JT. My JJ. Where's JJ? Yeah. I don't see JJ on here. Where's JJ? Fields, Stroud, Gibbs, Brees. He has Eckler, ETN, Javonte, Ridley. You didn't say who his quarterback was, but I'd say if he needs a quarterback, you entertain throwing him a backup quarterback, whatever. But I guess I would say Kyron for ETN, then you see what you got to throw in, like Garrett Wilson or something. You know, I don't know. Kyron and Garrett Wilson for ETN, is that enough? Kyron and Garrett Wilson for Ridley and something. Eckler would be a great acquisition for you. Kyler and Garrett Wilson, Kyler and DJ Moore, Kyler and Addison and Garrett Wilson for Eckler. Eckler would win you the league, I think, if you got Eckler, bro. Tanner, smash or pass, Chase and Javonte for Stevenson, DJ Moore, and Hopkins. No, I'm keeping the Jamar Chase side. That's not even close for me. Tanner, I'm going to say negative on that one. Negative, Ghost Rider. Stand down. Love, Stroud, Gibbs, Kamara, Mostert, Pacheco, Rashad White, JJ, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Palmer, Collins, Evan, Ingram. What ideas to improve? I love Kamara. I love Gibbs. I love Jordan Love. Mostert, I sell high. Rashad White, I sell. I love AJ Brown and JJ. So Mostert and Garrett Wilson for a top 12 overall player that is a wide receiver or really a running back as well, I guess, as long as you're starting that player. Rashad White and Garrett Wilson. Rashad White, Garrett Wilson, and Mostert for a Pollard or a you're not going to get him, but swing for Tyreek Hill. Diggs potentially. All those moves. Swing away, Merrill. Swing away. Appreciate you and your super chat. Zay, appreciate you. $5 hauler. Allen, you got to trade one of those quarterbacks to a needy team, bro. You have to. That's your ticket out of whatever mess you may or may not be in. Trying to get more running backs was offered. Gibbs for Ridley. No, I keep Ridley. I'm going after Gibbs using one of them quarterbacks. I'm going after JT. I'm going after Kamara. I'm using Mostert and maybe Tua or Mostert and Love. Try and use Love because Tua's got a lot of value. Mostert and Tua for a top 15 overall player. That's probably the easiest path for you. Go to those QB needy teams and start poking around, pal. You got so much firepower there. Unless it's a 2 QB league, then you trade Love and you keep Tua. Do we like Aaron Jones? We do. Like Hurts and Pierce for Deshaun Watson, Aaron Jones, and DK. Hurts and pieces, not Pierce, right? Hurts and pieces. I guess it depends on the itty bitty pieces, bro. I guess I would be okay with that, but I like Hurts so much that you'd have to really need Aaron Jones and DK badly. And then I think maybe that's something to look at, sure. I don't know if I love it. It might be one of those moves that you do and you're not liking it, though. You know, because I hate getting rid of Hurts, but that's a lot of talent. Trade Puka and Javonte, got Olave, JJ Kirk. Puka for Javonte? Absolutely not. Puka's worth so much more than Javonte. You know, you trading Puka, go trade for like Puka for Gibbs, you know, or higher. Like, Puka can get you a lot, bro. That's definitely disrespecting Puka's value. We got Problem Blessed with a $20 wad.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Problem Blessed, appreciate you. Been struggling at running back 2 and QB. I'm 1 and 2, full PPR, 2 flex. Got Achane off the waivers. Team is T-Law, Bijan, Achane, St. Brown, Olave, Goddard, Ridley. Wide receivers are off the freaking hook. St. Brown, Olave, and Ridley are fantastic. Flowers, Pickens, you got wide receivers for days. Roshan Henry. You got JT. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine, bro. And eventually things are going to pick up for you. I think that given I don't see a great backup quarterback anywhere, right? You got T-Law. You're waiting on him. I bank on that. That's okay. Unless you can trade T-Law to go get like, you know, T-Law and a Ford, T-Law and a Flowers, T-Law and a Pickens, T-Law and a Tank Dell to maybe go get Anthony Richardson or above to maybe just get a little. I would shoot for Hurts. I would try and trade T-Law and freaking Tank Dell and Pickens or Ford and T-Law and Tank Dell to try and get a Hurts or Josh Allen or Mahomes, which is going to be very hard to do. But T-Law and one player like Tank Dell, given how strong your wide receivers are, for Anthony Richardson could be a move to make. And you might even hang on to T-Law and still get that done somehow. But that's what I'm maybe looking to do. You got offered Debo and Javonte for Olave, JT. Absolutely not. Olave's better than Debo, and JT crushes Javonte. So you're losing both ends of that trade if you make that trade. Absolutely not. That'd be one of the worst trades you could possibly make. Those are the ideas I have for your team. Thank you so much for your $20 hauler to the moon, pal. Appreciate you. T-Law, Swift, Javonte, Roshan, Sharbs, Tyreek, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Ridley. Love the receivers. Higgins is expendable. Henry, I'd sell high if I needed to just to get things done. Swift and Javonte. Swift's great. Javonte and Higgins for 1 RB. Javonte and Higgins, what could it even get you? Maybe you get a Gibbs. If I go to thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings right now, and I'm going to look it up myself, I'm going to say running backs capable of acquiring at that potential value. Hurt Aaron Jones, ETN probably not. Kamara, JT, I don't know. You try. Gibbs, Achane, and something is something that you might look to do, I suppose. But it'd have to be something significant. So if you're going, you could potentially just go after Achane and maybe use Javonte. Javonte for Achane, Javonte and Hollywood Brown, Javonte and something else, because you didn't list everybody, I don't think. But Parker, hard to say what else to do without much more information, but I think you got the idea of where I would at least head, and we'll attack some more later. Got offered Amari and Kittle for Mark Andrews. Dell is my flex. Amari and Kittle, I would take Amari and Kittle over Andrews because Amari's playing so good you could probably trade him for the world if you wanted to flip him or just keep him. Get JJ for Fields, Garrett Wilson, Moss. I doubt you get JJ for that, Bobby, but the answer to that is yes. You go, if you like winning, Bobby, you're going to go ahead and get JJ in that package, and I do double that. I give him double that. I give him 2 of each of those players. Heating, appreciate you. Swift, Debo, Christian Watson for Tyreek. That's a lot. Lineup would be T-Law, Bijan, Brees, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Komet. What does the chat think on this one? Is that too much to give up for Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill or Swift, Debo, Watson? Can you guys please vote on that one for Heating? Heating, let's use the audience vote on that one because that one's tough. Got offered JJ and Jacobs for my Evans, CD, and Barkley. I take JJ and Jacobs, but then I flip Jacobs. And I think that's very doable and pretty easy to flip. Let's see what the chat thinks. Please, chat, vote on that one. Liquid says, Smitty, 12-team.5 Superflex was offered T-Law, Ridley, Bijan, Algier for Mahomes, Pacheco, McKinnon, Achane. I would take, oh my God, T-Law, Ridley, Mahomes, Pacheco. I would take the T-Law, Ridley, Bijan side. That's just too much talent. It's too much, and I believe in T-Law enough to do that. Mahomes is tough to pass on, but I mean, Ridley and Bijan are huge, bro. That you can't. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that trade. What's the chat saying? Too much. Too much for JJ. No. Yeah, everyone's saying too much on the. I'm sorry for was it Hill? Puka and Laporta for Ridley. That's pretty close. Even Steven. Honestly, like Laporta and Puka's a lot, but if you need a wide receiver, Ridley's good. I would say it's dead even. And the people that are going to say take the Puka side love Puka. The people that say take the Ridley side probably think Puka's going to drop off a little, especially with Kupp coming back. I would take the Ridley side. Traded Diggs and Puka for Ford for CMC and Godwin. I would take CMC and Godwin and maybe even try to flip Godwin after that. Let's go Buffalo. Gave Kamara, Hall, received Achane, Dell, and Swift. Kamara, Hall, received Achane, Dell, and Swift. Pretty even. I guess I'd lean the 3-player side to get the Achane side, but very, very close. Garrett says, dude, it's Achane. Announces it Achane. It's Achane. It's Achane. You keep saying, dude, it's Achane. It's not Achane. It's Achane. He came out and said it's Achane, Garrett. Call in, Garrett. Call into the phone line right now. Call into the phone line right now, Garrett. Phone line's open for you. Dial in. This is just for Garrett. Garrett, let's discuss. Okay, I'm here to set you straight. You can call in right now.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Call into the Texas Red phone line, which no one's knocked Texas Red off. So he's the highest super chatter of the month. $2.99 hauler. Anybody wants to take him off of this list, go ahead. But call in and name-splain me, Garrett. I'm waiting for it. Appreciate your super chat, though. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Garrett has the highest super chat in a single live stream here on the channel with a $600 WAD. I've got it on screen here. Where is it? Where is it? Right here. Garrett, highest super chat in a single live stream, $600 on the year. and he has his own emoji. If anybody would like to knock him off, you can get your own emoji, replace his eggplant and gorilla emoji that he has. You can get your own very emoji. That's your avatar. It could say your name. If you are the highest super chatter of the year, you will hold that emoji in the YouTube exclusive membership emoji section. League mate offered me Kareem Hunt and David Montgomery for Dameon Pierce and Justin Fields, but I'm having doubts. Kareem Hunt and David Montgomery. I'd probably lean toward the Pierce Fields side because I think Pierce and Monty are very close in value, especially if you need the quarterback value. Garrett, I'm waiting for you. Call in. $10 hauler. Thank you. Traded Puka and Kyron for Eckler. Wow. Smash it.
Got him.
Jeez. Love Spears. One spot open. Man, that's awesome. Cito, you smashed it. You got him hardcore. Have Puka, Moss, London. Do I go for Ridley or Kamara? Yeah, I would trade all of those for... I would try not to trade all of them. Trade Puka and Moss for Kamara, Puka and Moss for Ridley. It's hard to give up all of that for it, but I mean, it's probably worth it at the end of the day, just to be honest. But what's it leave you with, and can you win with what's left? You know, that's the only problem. It's not that it value for value, it doesn't make sense. A $2 hauler, my QB, Lamar, Garrett Wilson, Scary Terry for CD and AR5. My QB's Lamar, Garrett Wilson, Scary Terry. My QB's Lamar. So it's Garrett Wilson, Scary Terry for CD, AR5. I'd probably take CD and AR5, and then you have trade value. Even if you don't need them, you have trade value. I still like that side more. And Garrett hasn't called in yet. Phone lines are open briefly. Garrett, we're waiting for you just briefly. We're going to do quick 30-second phone calls. I cannot add everybody. We are done with the super chats. If I missed anybody's super chat, please let me know. Garrett's supposed to call in and name-splain me, but we're waiting. Very, very quick. Very, very quick phone calls. I'm sorry if I couldn't read the chat. I can read the chat right now. If anybody, I don't know that I can answer every fantasy question, but if anybody needs to tell me something, Smitty, you weren't paying attention and this happened, and you know Garrett's not even here or whatever. Christian Watson will start. Kerry, yes, he's so excited about Christian Watson, and I've been live, so I haven't even been refreshing the news all that much. Quentin Johnson should see an elevated role. We've got other things going on here. Let's see if Garrett's calling in. Garrett's not calling in. This is Zach. Zach Attack calling in. Zach Attack. James Arthur on the phone. Here's Garrett. Hold on. Everybody hang tight. Everybody hang tight. Garrett's on the line. Garrett. Fantasy splain me. Name splain me.
James Arthur.
Oh, yeah. James, you're on the phone too, but mute yourself real quick. Garrett.
Yep.
Go ahead and name splain me real quickly.
It's the English language. Achane.
It's not the English language, Garrett. It's his name. You don't pronounce someone's name based on.
It's how vowels are pronounced in the English language.
Garrett. You don't decide how to say someone's name because of a dictionary. If someone's name is said a certain way, No, they don't, Garrett. They don't. So do you say? Do you call Jesus? Jesus? You don't respect that he says, my name's Jesus, bro. You're just going to come in and say that? Or Raul? If Raul, our boy Raul, no, Saul calls it all the time. His name is Saul.
Bro, that's because that's how vowels are pronounced.
Bro,
Raul.
no, Garrett, you're making yourself look silly. You're making yourself look silly right now. You're telling me if Saul called in right now, I have to tell him we're pronouncing his name Saul. Garrett,
no, I'm not saying that. That's a whole different thing.
No, it's not. It's not any different, Garrett. It's not any different. Saul, the way you pronounce it in the English dictionary is Saul. But he's saying it's Saul, Smitty. And I say, oh, I'm sorry, Saul. And so I call him Saul now. You're telling me Achane's name is Achane. He came out and made a press release that they released to the Dolphins press corps. And he said, not only are you guys pronouncing my last name wrong, it's Achane, it's also Devon, not Devon. It's Devon Achane. And you're telling me that that's wrong after he just told you that it's Achane. What are you talking about, Garrett? This is ridiculous.
It sounds wrong. I'm just going
to
I want you to call me Garrett, man. I want you to call me Garrett, Smitty. Like, I can't.
We're backing up. We're backing up.
That's how it's pronounced.
We're backing up. If your name was Garrett, we would call you Garrett. Who are you to tell Devon Achane that his name's not Achane? Are you out of your mind, Garrett? Come on, Garrett. This is ridiculous.
I need to be called. It's Garrett, Smitty. It's Garrett.
I will call you Garrett from now on. I will call you Garrett from now on.
Oh
but Garrett, you're being ridiculous. There's not a single soul in here that's agreeing with you. Not a single person is going to agree with you. This is absolutely ridiculous. And let's ask Zach. Zach, do you agree with Garrett?
No, it's Achane. It doesn't matter if he goes by the name that he wants to go by. That's what we should call it.
You just said Achane.
But he's being stupid like you about it. He's not actually trying to pronounce the man's name correctly. You guys are ridiculous. You guys are acting ridiculous.
Whatever he goes by is what you should call him. I think that it's Achane, but
he doesn't go by that.
Whatever he wants to be
you guys
called.
are being stupid right now. He doesn't go by that. He doesn't go by that at all. He goes by Achane. And he released a press release saying you're pronouncing my name wrong, and you have been for years. You're like, what are you talking about? What are you both, Zach? I don't know. I don't know if I've seen Zach and Garrett in the same room before. It sounds like the same caller, to be honest. Let's go over to James Arthur from Texas real quick. James Arthur, do you want to weigh on this stupid topic that Garrett came in here with?
I respect everyone, however they want to be called. I just kind of stop at the whole gender thing. But whatever they want to be called.
All right, let's not go there. Come on. Let's not go there, bro. All right, I've had enough of this conversation.
I'm just saying that's how it's pronounced.
No, it's not, Garrett. It's not, Garrett. We've already told you. It's not how the dictionary pronounces his name. Who told you that? Who told you that it's how the dictionary doesn't have Achane in the dictionary, bro? What are you talking about? You can't look up Achane in the dictionary, you Garrett.
I'm saying that's how vowels are pronounced.
No, that's now you're backtracking again. You can't look up Achane in the dictionary like you just said. Now you're backtracking again, you Garrett. If you look up Garrett in the dictionary, it says backtracking.
Level with me. Come on.
Level with you. I am leveling with you. I'm telling you the truth.
It might be Chan. It might be Chan. That might be what he wants, but it's Chan.
No, it's not. But nice try. All right, Garrett, appreciate you calling in.
Have a good night.
The number one super chatter of the year. Garrett, there you go. Garrett. Zach, you got 30 seconds. I'm not going to be here long.
What's up, Smitty? I just want to say that's kind of like Kamara. Whatever he wants to be called is what he should be called.
But Kamara already said he calls himself Kamara. His mother calls him Kamara, or calls their last name Kamara. So He's actually come out and said that it's either way. But Achane is telling you that it's not either way. And Garrett thinks he can come in here and just redefine his name because he doesn't know how to say it properly. That's the most idiotic stance I've ever heard in my life. All right, Zach. Thanks for wasting. Right. Hey, thanks for wasting your 30 seconds on that. Appreciate you, Zach. Later. All right, let's go over to James Arthur. Let's change topics. That ridiculous conversation. Yes. Absolute ridiculous stance. Just unbelievably stupid. Go ahead.
Right. I have Mostert, and I was offered Calvin Ridley today for whatever reason. I am on the fence of accepting because my backups are awful for running back. I have Bijan, thank goodness, but behind that, there's nobody. I have Kareem Hunt, Kelly, and Spears because it's a big 14-man half PPR league.
Yeah, but the thing is, bro, you got to just, I don't know that I'm going to not make the trade because you don't have RBs. Like, Mostert's very good, but he's often injured. He's often injured. Like, I don't know that I trust Mostert to stay healthy. And if you're getting a chance to get Ridley, you almost got to take it. And then maybe you can flip Ridley for more. I don't know. It's a tough dilemma to be in, but you gotta potentially go get the best player in the deal. I don't know. That's what I would do anyway, but I'm kind of crazy, and if you can't make any additional trades, like no one trades in the league, then it is what it is.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I wish I could help you better on that, bro. All right, Travis Rowe.
Hey, I just got a couple real quick ones. First of all, do you value Lamar over T-Law or Love, or would you be going after him if you were me?
I value him over Love. So. I value him over T-Law right now because T-Law's got to prove his way back into a lot of our hearts. But I think Love is going to ball. I think Love is doing this without his top 2 receiving options. Not only his top running back, that's a top 5 to 10 running back, but that running back is a top 2 receiving option for him. So, I think Lamar's probably higher risk, higher reward, but Love's safer. Love's very safe when he gets those 2 options back, which is going to be immediately.
So, all right. And the last 2, you did say you would trade Achane, whatever his name is, for JT, right?
Yes, I'd take JT in a millisecond.
All right, and then would you, if I could upgrade to like Hurts or Allen or one of the top 3 guys, would you put like T-Law with Achane for him?
Absolutely, in a millisecond.
Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to run it by. All right, appreciate it, Smitty.
Later, Travis. Appreciate you. All right.
Later.
Yep. All right, guys. We got to go to 30-second calls. I'm holding everybody strict to it. Doesn't matter what you say. Clayton, you got 25 seconds. Travis took 4 years. Go.
Smitty, I feel like I messed up, dude. Okay, which side do you like better? You like Eckler and Metcalf or Diggs and Gibbs?
Eckler and Metcalf, Diggs and Gibbs. Eckler and Metcalf. I'm going to take Diggs and Gibbs. That's pretty arguable, but I'd take the Eckler side, I suppose, just on the upside.
Nice. Thanks, dude.
All right, later, Clayton. But that's tough. I mean, I could argue either side. Buddy, you got 25 seconds. Go.
Hey, I was in the chat and I was talking to Travis Rowe. Should I target Jalen Waddle for my T. Higgins and someone like Tank Dell
Of course.
Jordan Addison?
Of course. Get Waddle. Explosive offense. Very easy call. All right, later, buddy.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Later, buddy. Bye, buddy. You're good, buddy. Joel, you're live. You got 30 seconds, Joel, buddy.
All right, Smitty, I just wanted to come on and correct the historical timeline here. So it was actually Devon Achane. The pronunciation of the CH is actually a K, but he didn't want to be known as like Acne Boy. So then he went with the Achane, and it sounded too superficial. So then he wanted to relate it more to like the 4chan, so we went Achan. So,
Finish him. Call terminated.
Zach, you got 30 seconds.
What's up, Smitty? I just got word that Christian Watson is playing this week. Would you play him over Achane, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, or Garrett Wilson?
Probably if we hear no signs of any sort of decoy committee, stuff like that. But Achane would probably be my next option. And let's weigh that out a little bit later. I mean, no, we don't have a ton of time for it, but I definitely don't want to lock it in yet, but I'm close to. All right, later, Zach. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right, Tennessee Mike, final caller. Tennessee Mike, 30 seconds. Go.
Hey, Schmitty. Hey, are we benching Jeff Wilson just in case Achane or Mostert gets hurt?
Are we benching Jeff Wilson Jr.?
Jeff Wilson Jr. Because he's supposed to be coming back, I heard, in week 5.
I mean, I'm not starting him. I'm not starting him, but I don't know that. It depends on who you have. You know what I mean? Like, who are you benching? Just depends. Like, what player are we talking about?
I put Gibbs in my flex.
I like Gibbs over Wilson, sure. But Wilson coming back doesn't make me sit Achane, but it doesn't make me start Wilson. Not yet. We got to see how what the pecking order looks like. All right, appreciate you, Tennessee Mike. Later. All right, gave Diggs, Addison, Palmer for Waddle, Stevenson, Brown. That's a close one. because I don't love Stevenson, this could be a trade that doesn't necessarily work out, or it could. It depends if you can move Stevenson. I would try and move Stevenson. I'm not saying that trade won't work out, but I don't trust Stevenson right now. But I don't give him away, so you got to be smart with it. $10 hauler from Shoddy. Shoddy, appreciate you with the 10 spot. Let's see here. Where is that? Here it is. Stroud, Walker, Gibbs, Hall, Debo, Puka, Pickens, Kirk, Kincaid. Trade Puka plus Swift for Ridley. Trade Puka plus Swift for Ridley. I'd rather have Swift and Puka, or go to the Mahomes Hurts owner and upgrade QB. I'd rather upgrade QB than do any of those moves. Yeah. So I don't know what you would do with it, but like let's say you take your T Law, and he's got both of those quarterbacks and only uses one. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to trade him. I don't even know if he cares about getting T Law back, but you send him T Law or Stroud, and you try and give him Puka, or honestly, I maybe give him Swift for a quarterback of that caliber. Absolutely, Shoddy. That one's easy. This one here from Garrett. Garrett says Achane, kind of like two chains. What are you saying here, Garrett? Garrett, get out of here with this. Robert Rush with a super, but nothing attached. Trying to attach it, guys. I did go search for it, and I don't have the messages anywhere nearby. Traded James Cook, DJ Moore, Mostert, or Swift for Swift and Devonta Smith. James Cook, DJ Moore, Mostert. I take Swift and Devonta Smith. But very arguable if Mostert were to continue, which I don't necessarily believe he will. TD Premium League, 3 running back roster limit. Kamara, Achane are both available on waivers. It is blind bidding system, so Achane could cost a lot. I would drop the full load drop on Achane, bro. Full load drop. That means it looks a little something like this, broski.
Initiate full load drop.
Full load drop, indeed. Kamara, Achane are both available on waivers. Oh, I'm sorry. Kamara's on waivers too? I read that, but I didn't even process it. My mind's mush at this point, how long we've been live. Full load drop on Kamara. Not Achane. Full load drop on Kamara. Well, I've been live for 3 hours. I'm sorry. Full load drop on Kamara. Full load drop. But I put in requests for both of them, you know. Full load drop. Absolutely every dime on Kamara. That's league winning. 0.5 PPR. Trey Kittle, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Rashad for Mark Andrews, Mike Evans, Ayuk, Miles Sanders. Trade Ayuk, Amon-Ra, and Rashad for Mark Andrews, Mike Evans, and Ayuk. I like the Amon-Ra side a little more, bro. I'm not saying don't make a smaller trade, but I'm not doing that trade. I don't want to give up Amon-Ra. Traded Lamb and Swift for Eckler and A.J. Brown. I would take Eckler and A.J. Brown. Very, very close. Lamb and Swift is good, but Eckler and A.J. Brown is better. Watson, Dell for Olave. I take Olave and I run from the veto police. Boston, Dan, trying to call in about Fields need the number. Dan, the lines closed, Dan. We're getting out of here. If you dial in real quickly, if you know the number, I'll answer it real quickly for you. If it's not Dan, I'm hanging up. Robert, appreciate your super chat again. Shoddy says Hurts, Mahomes owner has Lamb, Flowers, and trash. Yeah, then you definitely go get one of those QBs, bro. He probably is susceptible to doing it then. That's crazy that he's got. But why would he have both those QBs? What's wrong with them? How about Flowers, Ford, and Pickens for Richardson and Javonte enough? My team is on the $20 hauler. Problem Bless, appreciate you for dropping that. Let me go find it. Problem Bless. Okay, how about Flowers and Ford and Pickens for Richardson and Javonte enough? Flowers, Ford, and Pickens. I think it's enough for this team. I mean, you got St. Brown, Olave, and Ridley. It's a really good team. You got Bijan, you got Achane, you got plenty of talent. So I'm okay giving up Ford, Flowers, and Pickens for Richardson and Javonte. I would try to not give up one of those if possible, but I know it's going to be a little hard to do that. So I'm okay with it. Robert coming in with another one. Robert, thank you. Trade Amon-Ra Mostert for Kelsey. Got J.J. Diggs Puka. Trade Amon-Ra Mostert for Kelsey. That's a lot because Mostert's so valuable right now. But I probably would lean toward the Kelsey side if you could get even like something back. Not that I wouldn't still do it, but I think I would try to finagle something. That's crazy though, like to even evaluate, because what if Mostert gets injured? Then it's like Kelsey. But Amon-Ra is still close to Kelsey, so I lean Mostert, Kelsey, and I feel like, or Mostert, Amon-Ra, and I lean toward the idea of you could trade like Mostert for Hawkinson, and then you'd have St. Brown and Hawkinson. So I probably would say Mostert and St. Brown, you need to get something. Flowers on waivers, who do I drop? I guess Roshan, but you got to keep an eye on him, bro. You have to keep an eye on him. I don't think I'd drop Charbonnet. Yeah, no. Appreciate you all. If I missed a super chat, please let me know. And this phone line is only open for, who was it? He hasn't called in though. Phone line right here, bro. The number's here on screen. Who was it that did drop that? Who is it that dropped that super chat? It was Dan? Dan, call in. If it's you, Dan, I'll answer. If it's anybody else, I'm hanging up on you and no calling for you for 2 weeks. So Dan, call in. Hurry up, Dan. All right, enough. That's enough of that, Dan. I cannot believe this Achane argument. Ridiculous argument. The dictionary. And then when it's not in the dictionary. Well, pronunciation, vowels. Vowels then, Smitty. Vowels. You have to go to the vowels, Smitty. Forget I said dictionary. Let's back up. Garrett, you're the... I tried waiting, Dan. I appreciate you. Oh, here's Dan. Boston Dan. Okay, yeah. Hey, Boston Dan. What's up, Dan?
Smitty, what's going on?
Slime, you can call in too. Just Slime. Dan, what's going on, Dan? I got to be quick, but what's up?
Hi, gosh, you've been on for hours. Let's see. I wanted to talk to Justin Fields. A lot of people are pushing the panic button on him, and it's, understandably so. But I think if you can afford to keep him, you should keep him. Justin Fields is, he's going to be.
Are you reading something? Are you reading something, Dan?
Last time I was on and talked about Adams, you thought I was reading something. But
you're reading again, bro. I can tell. I didn't even remember that was you, and I can tell you're reading. You're reading something. You wrote it down, dear Smitty.
I'm not. I'll put me on a FaceTime.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Dan. I mean, Chad, am I wrong? It sounds like at least sounds like he's reading. Go ahead, continue reading. Continue serenading.
I'm just well spoken.
Okay.
No, look, he's volatile, but if you can afford his volatility, I think you should keep him. It's good. It's kind of good to have a second quarterback. He's kind of like Anthony Richardson, where you want a second one just in case, break glass for emergency type thing. But against Denver, I'm not going to sit him this week. If he's going to have a get-right week, I think it's going to be the week. Denver is bad.
Dan, whatever you wrote down there, I agree with it to some extent. I think it just depends on your options. Like Love, you're starting Love. Anthony Richardson, you start Anthony Richardson. But if you're in shambles with Fields and you're looking to like the seller and you're trying to cellar dwell on this one, you can't. You got to roll with Fields. And Fields has scored a touchdown in every single game of the 3 this year. 1 passing touchdown. While that's not amazing, it is something. And I think, imagine if he starts running. All he needs to do is run. And I think he's going to have a field day. So this would be the game that he breaks back out. But if he doesn't this game, he's done. he's done. But yeah, Boston Dan, agree with you. Just nobody go sit Jordan Love. Don't go sit Anthony Richardson. Nobody sit those guys. But I do really like Fields this week if you have no other options and you're kind of contemplating something crazy, Thank you, Boston Dan, for calling in. I appreciate you for all of your calls. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Boston Dan, everybody. Appreciate you. I do appreciate you, Dan. Later. Garrett, you're the final caller. What's up?
Smitey, what are you doing?
What's up, Garat? What is it, Garat? What am I calling you again?
Gargeet.
You're Gargee now? Gargoyle? Okay, anyways, what can I do for you, Garrett?
I just wanted to put a final, you're calling me out on dictionary, you're calling me out on all this stuff. If you look up Chane, it's how the vowels are pronounced. That's all I have to say, and I hope you have a great night.
Garrett, can I just say something? One thing. What makes you think? What makes you think somebody that says this is how my name's pronounced, just like my examples of Jesus and Jesus, just like my examples of Saul and Saul, just like my examples of whatever? Like, you're not. Are you saying quesadilla? Is that how you say it? Because of the way the vowels are pronounced. Is it quesadilla? How do you say quesadilla? Say quesadilla.
Quesadilla.
Why? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that, Garrett? Garrett?
It's different.
Why
it's
is
not
it
the
different?
English language.
Garrett, tell me why, Garrett. Tell me why. Tell me
not
how
the
is
English language.
But who's to say? How do you know where his name even came from? You're making a big assumption.
I'm okay. I'm not making an assumption of where his name came from. I'm saying in the English language.
No, now you're going back to something that does not help you at all.
I'm not going back.
Garrett,
I'm being honest.
Garrett,
That's
you can't say that quesadilla doesn't count, but because you don't know where Achane's background is, where his name came from,
isn't English.
You
That
can't,
word is not English.
Garrett. You're not making any points, bro. You're not. You're picking and choosing when to use the English dictionary, when to then take the dictionary out. Now you're bringing the dictionary back in. You're just going all over the place on it. The bottom line is the man says this is my name. He's not changing the pronunciation. This is how it was established. Okay, just because you can't say it doesn't mean you get to say, well, let me go find the vowels and enunciate it the way I want. You can call him whatever you want, but don't come in and say his name's different than he's telling you. You're trying to tell the man his name isn't what his name is. That's ridiculous. If you want to mispronounce it, Garrett, you can do it all you want. Like, no one's mad at you over that, but you're acting ridiculous that you're telling him he's wrong. You're telling it. You've got 600 people in here. You're telling all of them that Devon Achane is wrong. That he's wrong,
if you
bro.
read the comments, it's about 50-50. Like
But
half for,
because they're playing with you, bro. Yeah. They love it. They're just feeding into it. At this point, it's becoming legendary because you're truly honest about this is how you're not trying to mess around. This is how you really feel. You think that Devon Achane is wrong. You think he's wrong. And how is the Mike Tom? How's the Mike Tom?
I'm not saying he's wrong.
Yes, you are. You're saying it's pronounced differently.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that's how it's pronounced in the English language.
But you're not using the English language. You're pronouncing his name how it's meant to be pronounced. That's what he's asking you to do, and you refuse to do it, Garrett. But Garrett,
just because
how is the Mike Thomas Olave? Since you brought it up, I wasn't going to bring it up. But how's the Mike Thomas Olave thing looking?
It's not bad, to be honest. It's not as bad as you thought it would be.
I'm surprised he's on the field, but yeah. All right, Guard, I got to go, pal. Yeah. Appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you, Guard. I appreciate you, but you do drive me nuts sometimes. But it is what it is. Appreciate you, Guard.
Later.
All right, Scotty, I got to go. You got like 5 seconds. I got to run. It's late. Hit me with it.
Man, well, I'm just driving to work right now. I have a trade offer.
All right, hit me with it.
Opinion on maybe how I can counter.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so my quarterback is Purdy and Justin Fields, and the trade offer that I have is Justin Herbert, Derrick Wilson, Puka Nacua, Jordan Addison for JJ and Achane, but I want to get Kamara. He has Kamara.
You read off a lot of guys, but I'm not trading JJ and Achane. Achane, by the way. It's Achane. Didn't you just hear any of that, Scotty? I mean, if you got Kamara, read off the side that you'd be getting again. So JJ and Achane.
I'm giving away. I didn't accept anything yet, but I'll be trading away JJ and Achane, and I have Purdy and Fields as my quarterback. I'm looking to upgrade my quarterback, so he's offering me Justin Herbert, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, and Jordan Addison.
No,
he also has Kamara.
Yeah, it's a garbage trade. That's a garbage trade. If he gave you Kamara,
right,
if he gave you Kamara on top of it, I would probably say it's closer, but I still don't do it. I still don't do it.
What about Kamara instead of someone else on that offer?
Like what?
Like, what if he gave me Kamara instead of? I don't know. It depends on how much you believe in Puka, and if what's his name, Cooper Kupp's going to come back. How will he, come back? How healthy will he be?
That's why I don't. That's why.
Right? But
I mean, that's why I don't do this trade. I don't. I mean, he'd have to be giving you like Kamara and Devontae Smith, and I still don't even like it. He'd have to be giving you Herbert, Kamara, Devontae Smith, and then I'm like JJ Achane, maybe. Like, that's what you're talking about. You're not even close. This isn't even close. Scotty, I got to go now because I've been on here way too long. My brain's mush. I can't even really help you at this point. But you got to get more.
Bijan and Kamara.
Okay, so Bijan, Kamara, and Herbert for JJ Achane or JJ and somebody else. Now we're talking. But that's what he commands, bro. Like, I'm not saying you're going to get Bijan and Kamara necessarily with Herbert, but I mean, you throw another quarterback back, and that's what the market is for JJ. JJ's worth Bijan and Kamara if you're throwing somebody back.
And I'd rather keep Achane. I can give him Madison. I can try to offer Madison.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
We'll have to work. Yeah, we'll work this one out. And hit me up in the comments of this video, and I'll try and figure it out. Try and tweak something and leave a comment, okay? And I'll look in the comments of this video and try and help you later. All right, Travis, I got 5 seconds. I got to go, bro. My mind is much.
No, yeah, I just I screwed something up. I went to moderate something and hid Superfish. So you need a saver.
Oh, you blocked Superfish. Oh, no. Oh, Travis.
I can't have that.
I appreciate you. Superfish, wait.
I told her in the chat. So.
Does she? Oh, she doesn't know, though, because maybe she can't see it. I don't know. Oh, let me go look. I appreciate you telling me, though.
Like a few minutes ago, man. I get the most.
Let me find Superfish. Wait, Superfish. Poor Superfish. Like, oh, poor, but Smitty. Oh.
Like the worst person I could do it to. Too.
Yeah, I know. Superfish is like the nicest person in the world. Let me find. Let's see here.
Let's see. It was.
Yeah, the time won't help me.
A little above Garrett's super chat.
Yeah, that won't really help me. But let me just see here.
Oh, okay.
Are you sure you did it? I'm looking.
It says Superfish was hidden by Travis Rowe.
Oh, bro. Can you undo it? Is there an undo?
No, it won't let me do anything. Like,
all right, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Superfish, if you're watching,
right,
he didn't mean it. All right.
Sorry.
All right, no problem. All right, later.
All right, talk to you later, Smitty. Thanks, bye.
All right, I'm gonna try and fix this real quick, and then I got these super chats that are sitting here, so hang tight. I don't see Superfish. Let me see here. Hang tight, Superfish. We're coming for you. I'll figure it out. Okay, let me figure this out in a minute, and I'll come back. These final super chats here. We got Thor Bear saying send Bijan for JJ. I take JJ. Don't even need to know the team. That's going to get you more value. I know we love JJ and Bijan about the same, but at this point with the fair market value, I think you got to take JJ. Achane is French name pronounced Sean in French. Okay, everybody knows more than he does. Appreciate you though. Kyle, 12-man full PPR, 1 flex record is 1-2. Got Goff, Walker, Achane, Chase, Amon-Ra, Musgrave, Ridley. Bench is Gibbs, Dell, James Cook, Flowers, Freiermuth, Stroud. Debating putting Dell in for Ridley. No, Kyle, why? I mean, bro, before last week, Ridley was like going into week 3. Ridley was a top 15 overall player. You can't do that. You can't. Your team, you got a good squad. I'd try and maybe somehow, some way upgrade at quarterback if you're at all able to use some of the bench players. The fact that you have James Cook on the bench, I wonder what you could use him, how you could use him to get that quarterback upgrade. But you cannot sit Ridley. Absolutely not. Garrett says you just said Achane because all of you guys keep saying it, and it's messing with my ability to recall in my brain Achane. And Garrett, you literally made no sense at all, and I think everybody here agrees. They're just trolling you because they're laughing really hard about it. Appreciate you all. Thank you for all the super chats. Appreciate all my $20 haulers. I'll see you all later. Thank you. See you later, guys. See you. I probably won't be live tonight. Maybe I drop a live draft link in my stories on IG, and we do a draft tonight. Okay, so keep tabs on my IG stories. I'll be dropping a link to get into some drafts tonight. Use the link that's in the live chat pinned. It's in the description of every video. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live whenever news breaks. Deuces. Thank you to all my $20 super chatters out there. You guys know who you are. $20 haulers. Let me see if I can put that up here. Super chat. We got Geezer. We got William Jackson. We've got Santana. Steve Foos. I know we have more than that. I'm trying to find them all. Geezer, appreciate you. Uncle Philly. Lego. William Jackson. Rodney. If I don't name somebody, I'm sorry. Kyle. Steve Opener. Ken Miller. Zach. Dude. Tyler. Bone. Foos. Tyler. Anthony Z. G Money coming in with the $20 hauler. Problem Bless. Appreciate you. And if I missed anybody's $20 hauler, I apologize. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Get breached.